ESPN.
Here we go. Travis Rogers, Alan Sliwa. Travis and Sliwa is on for your Monday. We're here each weekday, 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. We begin 9 hours of LA sports talk all day long. Hope you had a beautiful weekend. Let's get it rolling for a new week, and it is a Michelob Ultra Reaction Monday. We're reacting to Saturday night. The Lakers putting one on the Grizzlies early, but then held on. It was getting a little shaky there for a second.
Here is Luke Kennard. Kennard, top of the key. Desmond Bain, stolen. Austin Reeves has got it. Reeves to LeBron, lay it up and in. 42-13 Lakers.
For an old guy, he beat Brooks down the floor pretty easily.
Lakers have a 2-1 series lead. Game 4 tonight at Crypto.com. Coverage begins at 5:30 p.m. right here on 710 ESPN. The Toyota Lakers countdown to tip-off with Slee. Tip-off at 7 p.m.
We give ourselves a good chance to win, but it's all about us controlling the tempo, not turning the ball over, getting back in transition, and rebounding. We do those things, we can find our way in the best possible chance to go up 3-1.
Plus, we'll get into everybody's weekend. I think Travis played golf yesterday. Plus, producer Emily, producer Taylor. Let's get it rolling. Travis and Sliwa, a Michelob Ultra Reaction Monday right now.
Yeah! I didn't play golf yesterday, Slee. I got left at the first tee or the altar or however you do it. Yeah, I didn't quite get all the way to the golf course. My buddy Brad, who I was going to play with, he's this like mountain bike person, and he wiped out, and so he couldn't play. So he texted me 6 o'clock in the morning. Something's come up. Can't move my arm. I'm like, yeah, but that affects me. This is what you get for exercising on your own. How are you, my friend?
Did you say to him in your text, incredibly selfish for you to go mountain biking this morning?
So I tried
knowing that we have golf later.
It was kind of what it was. I tried to get Chris to play, too, and I'm kind of, twisting his arm a little bit, and he decided at the last minute, not the last minute, but he decided that he couldn't make it on
because he had to pay extra.
Sunday.
He already has a membership. He's out.
Right?
He's out.
And then Brad leaves me hanging. It's just the whole thing kind of fell. So, but what I did do is I laid on the couch all day. Got to watch basketball. Got to watch the Dodgers. I got to watch the Kings and the Oilers last night. I put a Travis-sized dent on my couch for about 9 hours yesterday.
Got a question for you. Do you stay the same?
I can't. I got to move.
I was going to say, that's good.
Yeah.
Kind of balance it out a little bit.
From the couch to the chair to the other end of the couch, back to the chair. It's just my back starts to bother me. Due to extreme lack of activity, my back starts to bother me.
Why does it feel like when you do something that small, like if just hypothetically, if you went yesterday and decided, I'm going to take a shower, I'm just going to,
I did. I got a haircut yesterday.
Okay. So why do those things all of a sudden feel like it's the biggest accomplishment that you can possibly make? Like you went up on the roof and fixed a patch that was leaking or something, but no, you did it. You just went and got a haircut, or you just went and took a shower. Those lazy days. Lazy days, the smallest things feel so big.
I went to the barber, and I sit in the chair, and the lady says to me, so, enjoying your Sunday? I'm like, yeah, it's been great. She said, what have you done? I said, literally nothing. I got up, I watched TV, I took a shower, I came here. Then I went in at like 3 o'clock, so the day was almost over. Got perfect. Absolutely nothing done.
Okay, so I did it. I know I was teasing on going to Phoenix on Thursday. I was going to go after the show. Southwest is like, no, you're not, because we're going to get you there in the 4th inning, and then you're going to have to leave. So ended up, I think I told you I was going to book on Sunday, and did exactly that. Flying out of Burbank, by the way. Why would I ever fly out of any airport? Does it go to Kenya as well? Because if it did, and I need a couple of stops,
you got to
go to Tokyo?
You got to stop in Oklahoma City first, but you can get there eventually. Yes.
There's no reason why not to fly out of Burbank, but head out to Phoenix in the morning, went to your place.
You told me Pizzeria Bianco.
Pizzeria Bianco. I didn't go to the original. The original is in downtown. They got a location, Town and Country, I guess is the area.
Yeah.
Probably 15 minutes from the ballpark. I literally landed in Phoenix, went straight to the taxi. We landed about 10:30.
Okay.
The place opens up at 11, but we know that there's going to be a line.
Was there?
So how about this? Take the taxi. Taxi directly gets we're there by 10:45. Probably 4 people in line. So I'm like, okay, this place opens up at 11.
Yeah.
Get right in the line. They check us in right at 11 o'clock. Sit down. We're the first ones to order. Our pizzas are the first ones that come out. And this is all important because the guy told us. We're telling him, we're like, hey, we're going to the D-backs Padres game. Starts at 1 o'clock, whatever the case is. He's like, okay, let's just get your order in and we'll get started.
Yep.
He said that the reason why the place the reason why it takes so long and the lines are so long, aside from the fact that there's a Netflix special on it.
It's probably good for business
That has something
when
to do with
Netflix
it.
does a special on your pizza place.
It's one of those wood fire pizzas, right? Wood fire ovens. They can only fit 8 pizzas at a time. So he's like, just get the order in. When we left, like when we got ready to leave, it's a 45-minute wait. And it's not that there isn't chairs and seats available. It just takes forever for you to get your pizza. So went there. Everything that you promoted was exactly what it was.
It's really good.
Amazing place. Shoot straight to Chase Field right after, 15 minutes away. But you kind of walk around a little. I'm like,
Did you get in the pool?
Swam. I think I counted. I burned 38 calories. Did not go to the pool. Shout out here real quick. Ari Gonzalez, who reached out to Emily on Thursday, he's a listener of ours, said, hey, I know somebody at the Diamondbacks can hook you up with some tickets. Alex Arpiza from the Diamondbacks hooked me up with a couple of tickets.
Nice.
Went straight to the game from there. Enjoyed 9 innings of Padres baseball. Next thing you know, taking a...
Did you wear Padres gear?
Oh, yeah. Definitely wore Padres
So
gear.
you took tickets from the Diamondbacks in your Padres gear, so I'm clear on this.
I was clear with him, like, hey, just
that makes it a little
FYI,
better.
I am a Padre fan, so as long as that's okay.
There's a whole episode of Seinfeld about this, by the way.
That's
where
completely fair.
Elaine wears the Orioles cap in George Steinbrenner's box,
That's
and
right.
they kick her out of the
That's
stadium.
right.
So that you didn't pull any Elaine is a good news.
Well, let's just say that the fact that it was the Diamondbacks and they had 23,000 seats sold, which means probably another 25,000 seats not sold.
Yeah, they wanted your.
I think it worked
presence.
out okay.
That's
so
good.
Got there and then flew back last night.
Did Lady Slee read a book? Did she talk to you? Like she told me she's not much of a sports fan.
Yep.
So what was she doing during the? By the way, how was your first pitch clock experience?
I hate to tell this to Mason. They got it right.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
they're
great.
good. Yeah, they're good.
It's great.
It's
Fast, but it's great.
In the beginning, it was very stressful. Not even the beginning of the game, just watching baseball to start off. That it was like, man, no, this is not how baseball works. We're supposed to take our time. We're supposed to sit back and have a 30-minute conversation between innings, right? Like all of that. By the time actually the game was over, it wasn't bad. How did she handle the game?
Yeah.
So we went. Casamigos has a. They had
tequila people.
Yep, they had a tent where they're basically you get some blended margaritas, you get some iced margaritas. Like, yeah, we're gonna go.
Sounds pretty good.
We're gonna go over there and grab one of those.
Sure.
You know what is baseball in July 4th and hot dogs and peanuts
And margaritas.
and a blended margarita.
Right.
So she spent about 3 innings telling me that she got a different kind. I got just the traditional margarita.
What'd she get?
What is it? They're only selling 2 different kinds of margarita. One was super. I'll have to look it up. One was super sweet. The one she got was super sweet. So I spent 3 innings listening to her tell me how sweet her drink was while I was
Pour a
enjoying.
little beer in it. We'll dilute that thing a little bit. Get a Modelo or something and
pour water
that
add
thing
ice
down.
in, ice in it, and everything else.
Why not? That sounds like a good day.
Had a great time. Got back yesterday, probably like 8:30.
It's a pretty good weekend for
We're
you.
done.
You get to see a Laker just blow out, run away, no doubt about it, win, where the thing's over by the end of the first quarter. That's kind of what I thought we were going to get against Minnesota in the play-in. It's just 4 games late. No big deal. Lakers by 1 million. And then you have that the capper on Sunday. What time did you get back last night?
8:30ish.
Perfect.
8:30.
Perfect. You practically walk from Burbank to your place,
nothing.
too. It's
No, it was nothing.
Piece of cake.
It was perfect. Now it's, where's my scouting take me? What ballpark am I going to next?
San Francisco, Seattle.
So
both good choices.
So Frisco, there's actually it's in I think June, let's say 19th or something. It's something like that. One of those weekends. They play twice. They play a 6:45 on like a Thursday night and a 12:30 on a Friday.
Get them both.
It's not I'll give that some thought.
You
down the
could
road.
get them both in there.
Frisco
How
will
about
be
you
fun.
guys? You guys have good weekends in there? Emily, I know you showed me the picture of the bagels that you
Yeah.
made. That, by the way, Slee, she's getting pretty good
getting pretty good at it?
It
Yes.
looked like something that you would get at a bagel store, a bakery. It looked, because not that your other ones didn't taste good, but you could tell they looked homemade, right?
Yes,
so
exactly.
these looked like they were perfect out of a bagel shop.
Yep.
So did you just make like dozens and dozens of them this weekend practicing?
I tried doing I did 4 3 cheese blend bagels, so they look better
Sure.
because you have a little bit
That's
of a topping
awesome.
on it. So and I broiled them at the end, which I think is why you get the good
Oh, you get the
crust at the
little
end.
crisp,
So that's why I
yeah.
think it went well. But
How was the chew?
The chew was good. I think it was good, and I think my eggs. I think I were a little more burnt than I usually do it, so my eggs weren't perfect, but it was a good bagel sandwich, as you guys like to call them here.
I watched over the weekend. Just randomly came up on YouTube, and it was basically some type of cooking show that was highlighting this guy's bagel shop in New York City, right? And I'll have to find it. You'll like it. It's just the whole methodology of it is pretty amazing. How he's been as successful as he is. Now I'm expecting one on Emily.
Just at her
I
house.
want a Netflix special.
Hey, I'd watch
by Thursday.
I'm done. They got plenty of stuff on there. Taylor, I want to hear about your weekend. I have a feeling I kind of have a general idea of how it went for you, but other than really missing a pretty golden opportunity yesterday, all good for you?
For the most part, yeah. It was that Sunday was rough though.
Yeah,
it still stings.
Well,
why did it sting for me too? You know how bad I wanted the Kings to win that game.
I know why.
Yeah, I have reasons why. Yeah, I have reasons why.
The reason why is because the winner of that series is the Lakers' next opponent. If the Lakers can take care of it, and Sacramento feels like a better, maybe they shouldn't. Maybe we're wrong because Sacramento may be the opponent anyway. But the Lakers took care of their business yesterday or on Saturday. We've got another one coming up tonight. Let's talk about Saturday coming up next, and whether or not what happened at the end of the game with Ja was a red flag or just a great player having a moment when a game has already been decided. That's coming up next. It's Trav and Slee, 710 ESPN.
Travis and Sliwa on 710 ESPN.
Emily, we'll get into it a little bit later, but I watched Succession last night, and let me just put it to you this way. If there were another season after this one, this would be the point where I pull the record
out?
and I'm out. Yeah.
And it's strange because I kind of agree with you.
Do you?
It was a bit of a mid episode. Personally, I think people can get mad at us or all that good stuff about how we don't understand it. I'm like, I don't know. It's just not that interesting of an episode.
I don't need to understand it. I just need to know if I like it or not.
You guys just don't get it. You guys just don't get it. Taylor and I understand
I
it.
want it to be, I don't know, dramatic, and
Okay.
it's just not.
Safe to say, if you're out for another season, if there was one, Emily, you're still in for another season, right?
Yes.
Okay.
They could
But-
run it till
Love the
she was
honesty.
an old lady with gray hair, with 20 great-grandchildren, and she'd still be watching it.
I want to be part of the
Season
culture.
44.
Right.
Come on. Like, that's how I feel about Barry right now. Barry is also in the same spot for me. But one thing I did like about the episode, we got a lot
Barry or Succession?
of Succession.
Okay.
We got a lot of Alexander Skarsgård.
He was
and
good.
Let's just say
I did like him.
is amazing.
I did like him. He was good, but the rest of it, I've had enough, Slee. Let's just go. Send me the final 5 so I can watch him in a couple of days and just be done. I do want the bow at the end of it. I need to know how it ends, but I didn't feel like it was.
It might
not
get
really
better.
moving the
If
needle.
right now you're underwhelmed,
Maybe it's just. You ever have a show where you really like it, and I do really like it. Let me just
Okay.
be. The reason I'm this far into it is because I do like it. The acting is great, and the writing and all these things, wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. But it's just exactly what I expected it to be. Like,
So there's no surprises,
There's no
nothing?
surprises. It's exactly what and it's just if I know what's coming next, and maybe they'll hit me with a twist before too long. But if I know what's coming and I get it right, that's super unexciting.
yeah, no, they gotta. I don't imagine, as somebody who knows nothing about Succession, but I have to imagine that they're going to throw some curveballs before it's all said and done.
They should.
You can't have no curveballs there.
All right, so I was at a party on Saturday night.
Okay.
And we were sitting around having a little food and drinking some beers and just kind of chit-chatting with some of the other dads. It was one of Michael's baseball team's team function, and they have a team dinner on weekends. That this was the last one because the season's wrapping up, so they invited the parents and stuff. It was a very nice time. The hosts were wonderful and everything about it. But somebody puts on the Laker game on their phone, right, and kind of sets it on the bar so we can all glance at it. Game was over in 8 seconds. It was one of the few times the Lakers all season where the game starts, and by the end of the first quarter, like, I really don't even need to see the Rose at 35-9.
35-9.
It was over before the thing
They
even
had a
started.
29-point lead. I was doing as you know this, we'll do that update at the end of the first quarter. They were like 1 of 13 from 3. They were maybe 12 or 13% from the field. It was over. You just don't come back from 29 down. That's not how the NBA works.
No.
In a playoff game,
No.
where you're the home team as well and everything else, you're right. At the end of the first quarter, you could have said, well, that was fun. I'll just look at the box score in 2.5 hours.
It was boring.
I tried doing that. I was not able to. I was not allowed to.
It was boring right up until Ja went nuts in the fourth quarter, right? When he scored 22 in a row at one point for Memphis. And I really kind of go back and forth. I think where I finally landed is it doesn't really matter because the game was so one-sided that the level of defense, the level of desperation, that the game was over. And Ja's a great player, and he was going up against guys that had already decided they'd won the game. But I don't blame the Lakers for that. This isn't one of these, hey, don't mess around with this. You only won by 10. The game was over. Whether he got 22 in a row or 32 in a row, it just didn't really matter. The Lakers were never going to lose that game. Did you feel the same way?
So I think this is the question. I think the question is, listening to John and Michael on the broadcast, and it was, hey, it's down to 16. Think about how much 16 is. 16 is a huge advantage in the NBA. Guys, it's getting close. It's down to 12. It's down to 13. They always had enough of a cushion where you never question the game in jeopardy. Now, I'll say this. I think for Memphis, you could have tried to sell yourself by the time the game was over. You could have told yourself, look, we are down 29 points. We played as awful as you can possibly play in that first 12 minutes of the game. From that point on, we did everything we can to just try to make it respectable. I think Memphis can sell themselves that you can't put the first quarter away. Listen to Ja Morant postgame. And Ja was saying, look, we're plus whatever they were. I think they were plus. I think they outscored them by 16 from the second quarter to the end of the game.
Yeah.
Well,
Who
you
cares?
can't not take away the
right,
first quarter.
right.
The question I think more is, can Memphis walk away from the game saying, hey, they got us? No question about it, they got us. However, did we figure out some stuff between the second quarter to the fourth quarter that can help us in the next game? That's the only thing that I think you can watch. I will tell you this. Whatever we saw on Saturday, this is going to be a completely different game. I don't expect – we were talking about it on Friday. I don't think the shock on Saturday was Lakers blowing out the Grizzlies. For me, it would have been if it was a close game. I just thought you had too many things going the Lakers' favor. First off, they're coming off a loss. whether Braun wasn't going to go and try to drop 40 on Dylan Brooks, but I thought the team was going to, all right, this guy's going to keep chatting. Let's just play. Ja, we weren't sure if he was going to play. He was a game-time decision. Is the first time it was a sold-out Crypto.com arena since 2013. I just think it was a Saturday night. I think there was enough there for the Lakers. I don't think Game 4 is going to be any version of what Game 3 was. If they can, I think to go off of your point, does it matter how Game 3 ended? No, I don't think it does, unless Memphis can say, "Hey, let us just take some stuff away that might help us in Game 4."
But it's fool's gold. It wasn't competitive basketball at the end. You know what I mean? It wasn't where the Lakers were trying to lock down and prevent one more possession. It was we had a 29-point lead, and as long as we don't fall on our faces, we're going to cash this thing in, which is exactly what happened. I think you're right, though. What happens tonight, I think, has very little connectivity to what happened in Game 3, which had very little connectivity to what happened in Game 2, which had very little connectivity to what happened in Game 1. You had the Lakers look pretty good in Game 1, tight, close game, and then they looked dreadful in Game 2. And then Saturday, they looked amazing.
Sure.
And then I don't know what tonight's going to be. I think that the one thing that I feel pretty comfortable with the Lakers is they don't really seize opportunities to take this thing by the neck when they were given them. Maybe tonight will be different. I would love for them to come out and have another 35-9 lead. I don't think it's going to happen, but this is what they do. They get in a good spot, and it feels like, okay, here we go. We're getting ready to go on one of those runs where it looks like that, 4 out of 5 nights, 7 out of 8 nights, or whatever it may be, and then they give you the clunker right on the back end of it. I just would love to not see the clunker tonight. Whether it's a close game, a blowout, or anything else, just not one of these. There's Anthony Davis again. Why did he only have 4 free throw attempts? Or why couldn't they get him the ball? Why won't we just have that? Just go back to Memphis and finish this thing off in 5 games. Have this thing be done. Come back. Let Sacramento and Golden State beat the snot out of each other. And get rested and do the best you can. And not a... Well, look, no matter what that's coming back to L.A., don't go back to Memphis 2-2. Don't go back to Memphis with those guys even having a little spark of life. Put the cold water on their season tonight and end it on the spot.
All right, real quick, of course, it's a reminder. Michelob Ultra Reaction Monday on 710 ESPN, reacting to the Lakers' statement win on Saturday night behind AD's 31, LeBron's 25, plus getting you pumped for Game 4 tonight. Presented by Michelob Ultra, a refreshing and balanced flavor with only 2.6 carbs and 95 calories. Michelob Ultra. It's only worth it if you enjoy it. Please enjoy responsibly. I'm going to play off something that you just said right there. I think that's why I think tonight's a really good game. Mm-hmm. I think that it's a close game. It's because, Trav, certain teams who have championship pedigree in any sport, when they get opportunities like they got in Game 2, they seize on them. When they get opportunities like Game 4 tonight, you're at home at Crypto. You got to you go up 3-1.
Still doesn't sound right, by the way. At
no,
Crypto,
I know.
It just doesn't.
I will say this.
It still feels like it should be
I have said it enough to where it's actually not hard anymore to get the Staples part out of it. It was always funny. It's always funny when it came down. I'm never calling it Crypto.
Well, it's not even that. It's not like I have a. But it's just like when you said it, it just doesn't ring right. It still feels like the Lakers play at Staples Center. Not that I have this emotional connection to staplers and whiteout. I don't really.
No,
care.
you're a hole punch guy. You have every version
weird.
Of hole punchers out there.
That'd be fun to have.
And I even did it too, where I just said Crypto. Right? I didn't even do the .com arena. I could have gone that far.
That's a lot.
So I championship teams usually seize on opportunities. This Lakers team has yet to show us when we smell blood in the water, when we think this is a chance to kind of put a stranglehold on a series or a team or anything like that. The Lakers have yet to show that. So I walk into Game 4 not thinking that the Lakers are going to come in. I think it's going to be a tight game tonight. I think it's going to be close. I think the desperation that you got from Memphis in Game 2 is probably going to look similar
with Ja.
Exactly.
Yeah.
With Ja Morant in this situation. So until the Lakers have one of those games, if you and I are sitting here 24 hours from right now and we're saying, damn, that's the first time we've seen the Lakers say, guys, it's a wrap. This series is over.
Love to
kind of
see
have that killer pedigree, if you want to call it. We just haven't seen it yet. So I don't expect anything like Saturday. I expect a dogfight tonight.
It's one of two things, right? To be the team that throws the proverbial switch, the team that can just, tonight's important, we'll try hard, we'll play well, we'll execute, we'll defend, we'll get good shots. you're one of two and then on other nights where it's like, we got a lead, we can kind of not do that. And it's not as conscious as all that. It's more subconscious, but we see it all the time. You're one of two things. You're either so good that you can do that when you want. So the Shaq and Kobe Lakers kind of had that, right? Just that. Look, we can kind of just spin our wheels.
Yep.
And is this important? It's
Turn on.
important.
Go.
Okay, here, get ready for this. And Shaq and Kobe just demolish people, and that was it. Or you're a team that's not disciplined. You're a team that isn't very good. You're a team that lets your opponent dictate your level of effort to you, and you can get caught with that because you're not good enough to just say, oh, okay, LeBron and AD are going to go, and they're going to smash people. Can they? Sure. But can they just throw that switch whenever they want? Not really. Not like some of those other great teams have. When the Warriors, back when Steph and Clay and Draymond was,
KD was on that team.
Just like we can go time. Okay, boom, bam, and it was over. I don't know if the Lakers are good enough to do that. They're good enough to win the series. I think they're going to win the series, but I don't like that. Well, is this a big one? Is this? They went into game one. You could tell that they had come off of a clunker. They dodged a bullet, but that they needed to
4
dodge
days
the bullet.
rest.
That's what I'm saying. That they're not nearly good enough to have just that lackadaisical attitude coming into some of these games. I would love to see whatever. I don't know if it was Dylan Brooks. I don't know if it was LeBron. I don't know if it was Crypto.com Arena's crowd. Just whatever got them to that headspace on Saturday. Let's do it again tonight, so then we're done with this. And it's not more of this. Well, now you're putting yourself in a position where Ja could get you or any of these other guys could have a big night, and now you're out.
Maybe that's why the West is so wide open, too, because I don't think there's a team there that you're looking at saying, I mean, if you want to make any argument for anybody, you'd say Denver.
Yeah.
That would be the only one you'd make an argument for. But Phoenix has looked okay.
At best.
At best.
Yeah.
The Warriors are in a dogfight, and it's a good series.
It's a great series.
It's probably going to go 7 games. I could easily see it's going 7 games. The Lakers are the one that kind of had a lot. I mean, Phoenix has as well, just injuries that have depleted the Clippers. But the Lakers have had, they're missing a couple key guys. Can you take advantage? Against Minnesota, missing a couple games. No, actually, all these games, they've been interesting. So I don't know if that's ever going to change. Maybe that's just who the Lakers are. But at least tonight, by the way, it doesn't have to be a tempo. Just find a way to get the win, move on. You're up 3 games to 1.
Win by 1,
win by 1.
20. Who cares?
It's going to be close. I really do.
Fine.
Yeah, I agree.
Just win.
Listen,
right?
if Memphis walked away 2-2 going back to Memphis,
don't love it.
We got, it's not just a real series. The season could be over in a few days.
All right, Laker fans, 877-710 ESPN, 877-710-3776. Where are you in this series? Plus, we're talking about that, right? The 2-2. It could be 2-2. Well, that's where the Kings and the Warriors are. That's the next round opponent for the Lakers, assuming they get through it. Do we have a preference at this point? That's coming up next. It's Travis Lee, 710 ESPN.
Off to a great start. If I could see a picture of Rookie the dog, that's Sliwa's pet. Rookie the dog. Well, you can at ESPN Los Angeles. You can see Slee. You can see Rookie the dog hanging out in their new Subaru from Sierra Subaru of Monrovia. Go check out the picture. Give it a like. Rookie the dog should have his own Instagram account too, by the way. So let's get that rolling. Right now, more of Travis and Sliwa, your Monday.
Got to update my own Instagram.
Yeah, I was going to
make an account for a rookie.
You got him in the new car?
Yeah, shout out Sierra Subaru of Monrovia. Hooked it up. I think I'd mentioned I went to Lake Arrowhead last weekend. They gave me an Outback to go kind of enjoy an adventure, and rookies everywhere. Let's just say that. Guys just hanging out everywhere. I'm like, Rick, just get in the car.
Is there a sunroof?
Yeah,
did he jump out the top on the roof rack?
It was close. It was rookie. Stay in the vehicle.
I like it. It
was awesome.
You should get him an Instagram. That would be good. Emily, you'd have to update it for him. Slee could send you the pictures, and you'd have to post them for him.
My girl's the same way. She's like, I find myself for Instagram, first off, when I take it off my phone, I'm much better. I have 13 more hours a day just in case, okay?
Do you find yourself flipping through it?
Out of nowhere.
Yeah.
Out of nowhere. Like, I'll go a couple days, don't even look at it. But when you get caught up in the just scrolling, that thing is addicting.
I don't do it often, but when you get sucked into that universe, you start going through it pretty rapidly. Like, oh, there goes 20 minutes. There goes a half
I'm like, okay,
hour.
final one. It's like a slot machine. I'm like, I don't even know what it is.
Get the little dopamine
yes.
hits, right? You got to keep going.
It's easy to
The algorithm's going to get you, Slee. Wait till you should get a TikTok, and then we'd never see you again. Slee disappears into the black hole of TikTok.
But you know what I'm talking about. That thing is as addicting as possible.
I'm not as into the addiction of Instagram as much as other people are, but TikTok does it, and I have to institute time limits.
I just want my phone to turn off.
Yeah, it sucks.
Well, it will eventually. Just keep burning through it. You get that little 20%.
Save
10%.
my battery.
All right, do we care who the Lakers get in the next round? And yes, I'm talking a little bit of jinx territory right here, talking about what's coming next. But the Lakers, even though it's 2-1, Slee, it does feel like the Lakers have a much firmer control of this series than just a one-game lead, right? Sometimes there's what it feels like in with your eyeballs, and then it's what it looks like on a sheet of paper. The Kings and Warriors feel very even, and it is very even. You look at some of these other series that, like the Lakers, they feel like the better team. They've looked like the better team a couple of times in this, and the one where they didn't win, they were terrible and still nearly were able to kind of scrape it together at the end. Stay with the Lakers for a second. Does it feel that lopsided to you? Because, again, they're one loss away tonight from us going, oh, my gosh, here we go again. But seeing how good they looked and how poor Memphis got off to that start on Saturday night, it did feel like the Lakers are not just a game ahead, but comfortably ahead.
So I think you and I both expected – I thought it was going to be a long series from the beginning. But you felt like Lakers just got too much talent, too many weapons. They're healthy. There are things that just are going the Lakers' advantage before the series even starts. Now you're 3 games in. Well, they came out the gate and punched Memphis, took home court right out the game that we're frustrated for the Lakers for was Game 2. Even though it was in Memphis, it was, well, Ja wasn't there. Okay, Game 3 comes, they take a 29-point lead. I think at this point, the only reason why you're not super comfortable is because it's 2-1.
Yeah.
Right? I think tonight is a telling story. If the Lakers just, whether it's a close game or they win the game by 1 point and you go up 3-1, now you're basically telling yourself it's just a matter of time. What you don't want to have happen is all of a sudden the series becomes interesting. Remember, moving forward now, you have 1 day off in between that you and I talked about this, that's going to benefit the Memphis Grizzlies the rest of the way. Well, does Memphis have the series tied to a piece with every day you're flying back and forth between L.A. and Memphis the rest of the time where you're how tired the Lakers are looks like it could come to play? Or is it 3-1 and they have a little bit of a separation? I'm with you that it feels like this series is further apart, but it's not. Only because it says 2-1 in the actual series. What they do tonight, I think, is very telling.
Taylor, did the Kings blow their chance to win that series yesterday? Because the way, first of all, let's go back to Steph calling that timeout that they didn't have. That is not a mistake that you see very often, full stop.
Yep.
And it's certainly not a mistake you see with a player of Steph Curry's pedigree making. They call the timeout that they don't have, technical foul plus the ball, and now all of a sudden when it felt like the Warriors were going to win,
it was just
a matter of time, just let the clock run out to Harrison Barnes is wide open, gets a really good look, lets it go. He misses. That could have been the defining moment of that series, and it slipped through their fingers.
That Barnes shot wasn't really the shot they wanted, though. I mean, they want the best player, clutch player of the year. Fox taking that shot. They did a good job double-teaming him and stopping that. Draymond stepped up to the plate right there. But I still think it's going to go to 7, and everybody's going to win at home.
So Taylor, I'll tell you this. Yes, and I'm at the Padres game yesterday, right, in Arizona. And at one point, I'm streaming the game on my phone. And I'm just basically like, look, this is fine and all, but 6th inning of a baseball game in April or Game 4, Sacramento and Golden State, and it's a close one. I stopped watching it 126, 121. I'm like, the game's over.
Yeah.
So I stopped watching. And then I look at my phone, it says 126, 125. I'm like, what the hell?
What happened?
What the hell just happened?
Right.
I actually think Sacramento still – I don't think yesterday – they would have stole that game if they won it. I don't think it was Sacramento did something wrong. I think the Warriors are a good team. They got their guys, all that. I still think Sacramento's in good shape. Now,
good shape?
Yeah.
They're in it. They're very, very
we
much
got a
in
real
it.
series there.
For sure. But there are moments.
Yeah.
There are moments that define series, teams, championship runs.
The series was over if
that shot goes down, they win that series.
By the way, I'm with you. I hated that possession. Hated that possession.
They doubled him. What do you want him to do?
De'Aaron Fox got to take the final shot. He's got to take the final shot.
They got a wide open look.
No, you got to.
What do you mean? No, they did.
De'Aaron Fox has to take the final shot. Period. And you got to go to the basket.
Double team.
And you got to go to the basket. The way that all developed, Harrison Barnes. When
shot.
Harrison Barnes set the screen, I get the hell out of there. Harrison Barnes got to go to the corner. He's basically right next to De'Aaron Fox. That he doesn't give him any space to. Doesn't give him any space to go do anything. Let's put it this way, and he almost hit the shot. You're right, and the shot wasn't off by much.
It was wide
open. He also didn't need a 3.
But if you're asking the Golden State Warriors, a perfect scenario there, it's a 28-footer or a 27-footer from Harrison Barnes, not De'Aaron Fox.
I agree that the Warriors did what you guys are talking about.
He's got to get out of there.
Anybody but him. They did that thing. Anybody but him. If we go down, it's not going to be because Fox gets us, which is what good coaches do. We're not letting your best player do it. We're going to force you to put it in someone else's hands. So I don't think that's a Kings problem. That's just that the Warriors executed that really well. Barnes got a good look. He just missed. But I'm not even talking about that.
You're talking about the series based on the loss.
It was right there.
Sure.
It's right. Just grab it. And they didn't do it. And I'm with you. I think that the Kings are still in a fine spot. It's 2-2 after 4 games. But you're not going to get a ton of where the Warriors barf on themselves and almost hand you one. You better bleep and grab it when they do it, because they're not going to do it a lot. That Draymond brought an insane amount of energy to what they were doing yesterday. Steph was really good again. Clay heated up a little bit. De'Aaron Fox has been awesome, right?
Sabonis needs to step up.
Sabonis
he really
has been
does.
Bad, right? Sabonis has not been the player that he was during the regular season. And look, this is why the Warriors are so scary. If they miss shots, it's because they miss shots. If they make some mistakes, it's because they make some mistakes. It's not going to be because their eyes are this big, like, whoa, what's going on here? De'Aaron Fox slid right into a playoff series like he's been doing it in his whole life, even though it's his first time. Sabonis, not so much. And it's normal. It's not a criticism. It's just an observation. But they're going to need him to do something. And we're going into Game 5, and he really kind of hasn't. And Steph's not going to freak out. Clay, Draymond, they had it. There was that crack in the door, and they didn't grab it. The last thing you want to do is give those guys more life, and they did.
But it almost seems like this series is supposed to go 7, and I think that it would have been very discouraging for the Sacramento Kings. Let's say, hey, they grabbed 2 because they were at home, but then they got blown out in 2 straight games in Golden State. It's a real series,
There's really only been one game that was lopsided. Game 3 was the only one that was kind of lopsided like that. Everything else has been pretty tight.
And even if the Warriors don't make some of the mistakes they made, they're going to win that game by 4 or 5 points yesterday. But I think if you're Sacramento, you also got to feel like, okay, hey, we're getting their best shot, and we're still sitting right here. That it is actually because for a lot of fans out there, it was you want the Kings, you want the Kings, you want the Kings. By the way, that's not going to change.
Do you want the Kings?
I will always take and give me always an inexperienced team over a team that's been there and done it year after year. However, if they get past the Warriors, now you got a team that's not only building some confidence, but a team that's super young, can run up and down the floor. It might be a bad matchup for the Lakers, but I'd rather have the inexperienced team than the other.
I couldn't agree with you more. I think give me the Kings because the Kings don't have the stripes and the scars and the battle experience that the Warriors do. Kings get up and down the floor in a hurry. Like imagine the Lakers trying to play at that pace for 6 or 7 games. I don't think
about
that's
6 or 7 minutes.
I was going to say I don't think that's what they're looking for, but I would still give it a chance to pick. I would pick Sacramento for sure. 877-710 ESPN. What happens tonight? Game 4, Lakers and Grizz, and which of those two teams would you rather see if in fact they can do it? And let's just have it be 3-1 so we can talk about.
That's all.
We can talk about the Warriors. We can talk about the Kings. Ask Slee coming up next. It's Travis Slee, 710 ESPN.
But it's time. We'll take a moment, a break from the reacting, because it's time for a Monday edition of Ask Slee. And Ask Slee is presented by our friends at Harrah's Resort SoCal. Find your funner state of mind with a visit to Harrah's Resort SoCal. Voted best resort in funner California. From dining to unwinding, you'll find fun around every corner. Learn more at harrahssocal.com. Let's do it Monday. Time for Ask Slee right now.
This is a tough one right out of the chute, Slee. You ready for this?
Yeah.
Chris writes, you have to erase one career from human history. De Niro or Pacino? Who do you erase?
Oh, gosh.
It's a tough one.
I'm going to go Pacino.
Why?
I'm more...
You lose the original Godfather with that.
I know. I just naturally lean towards... I think De Niro, of all the, mobsters out there, he's always been my favorite. Gosh dang it, I don't even like that answer as I say that.
Well, here's the reason that it could be Pacino, right? That Pacino has to stay. Because I agree with you. When you talk about other... you lose Goodfellas, you lose Casino, you lose these because those are De Niro movies, right? But you lose The Godfather with Pacino. And that is the best one, right?
You know what? I got my...
Are you a big Meet the Parents fan? Or Meet the Fockers, right?
I am, actually. Those are good.
They're funny.
They're hilarious.
Right? They're funny. So you would lose those with De Niro.
Then I'd lose Any Given Sunday on the other side.
Bull. You would lose Any Given Sunday. That inch, Slee. That inch right in front of your face. That's what we fight for.
Well, now I got to... This is what I'm thinking in my head. Do I just go with my favorite movie of all time, which is The Godfather?
Lethal Weapon 2?
That's third. Lethal Weapon 2 is third.
Third. What's second?
Lethal Weapon 1.
Okay, great. Got it.
Do I just say, screw all the other great movies out there, I keep the best movie of all time, which is Godfather, and then I got to get rid of De Niro, and I got to get...
Driver's gone. Mm-hmm.
Raging Bull's a good one. That's a great one.
No, he's had some...
But you also get rid of Jack and Jill, which I think we could all agree that.
That's the Pacino Sandler movie.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, Pacino's
not great. It's not great.
Pacino's gone. I just got rid of.
If we just pick the worst
Scarface.
movies of their respective careers, you can have Scarface. I know that's an.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You would like to get it off.
Scarface is not in the conversation with any of those other ones.
Capitano Matt, should your socks match your shoes or your pants?
Yeah, there has to be something. I mean, let me just use as an example. If you have darker colored jeans, you should probably have black or gray socks.
What if your shoes are like brown, though? Do you want brown socks?
The brown kind of throws it off. The shoes will throw it off a little bit. Like
well, that's the
I'll typically go. I think the shoes less than the jeans. So if the jeans are darker, then I think you're better off going with a dark sock. If you're wearing blue jeans, right, just your regular blue jeans, you probably shouldn't have black socks on with brown shoes. Then you throw on the blue
I think you
socks.
match them to the shoes. I think that because the contrast of the shoe, like you think of a nice suit, right? You can get
shoe goes with the belt.
Yeah, well, for sure. The shoes always go with the belt. Yes, we're Mr. Blackwell over here. But the sock and the shoe need to look like a harmonious unit. Because like when you cross your legs or whatever and your pant leg comes up a little bit, you don't want it to look like more pant leg. You want it to look like more shoe, right?
That's good.
Am I wrong? That's just kind of
great way of putting it.
Came up as we were doing it.
Fashion
Daniel,
icon.
Yeah, well, that's me. My hoodies and khakis every day. Daniel Tapia, what's worse, getting the last drops of everything out of a bottle, juice, ketchup, last piece of pizza, or always picking up an empty box or bottle of everything?
Last drops it's like it's work. You know,
there's always unsatisfying.
Can I tell you something that's actually kind of funny? This happened over the weekend. We have just a bottle of honey, right? And my girl is just sitting there like this, okay?
Last drop
and
of
just
honey out.
and squeezing and
Forever.
squeezing and squeezing. I'm like, what is she doing? And she's like, just throw it away. And then I opened up the cap, and there was just all this honey ready to come out. So it's a lot of work. It might even cause problems inside the household because one is just angrily, I'm like, just open up the cap. It's all there.
And you can run the knife inside the bottle, get a little bit more out of there.
Toothpaste is another one that I
Put
don't
it
know.
open. For that last little, like you're just about done, right?
Yeah.
You can't. You've rolled it. You've done a thing on the edge of the bathroom counter to get it. You can get one last thing. You got to cut the tube open.
So I'm not a cut the tube kind of guy, but I know where you're coming. Then you could actually take the toothbrush and just get what you need, and that's if you're out of toothpaste.
I have no choice.
But if you have 4 other toothpastes, like my girl will just keep squeezing the living hell out of this. I'm like, we have more toothpaste. Just go
I
get
gotta respect that.
another box of toothpaste.
My family, the jar like mayonnaise. There's like it's basically they've taken the rubber spatula. There's no. It's like it looks like it's clean, like it's a display item. But no, there's a little bit under the lid right there.
Look, wouldn't you rather have that than
throw
the
it away.
moment they squeeze, there's still a quarter left, and they get a little air and they just throw it away?
I'd rather that because then at least I know I need to go buy another one, as opposed to now I've have the sandwich constructed and there's nothing left, and now I got to eat a dry sandwich. It's not a good deal. Manson the Clown,
It's getting stuck on the roof of your mouth.
yeah, you got to drink 8 glasses of water with that ham sandwich because you can't get it down. Manson the Clown. Why is it made fun of and frowned upon for a man to have a toupee, but it's socially acceptable for women to have fake lashes and hair extensions? Hashtag Ask Slee. Good question.
Do you guys want to help me out? Because I have no idea why that would be socially acceptable.
Well, it is. So it's like if you see a guy,
it is 100%.
Well, if you had a good one, I might not notice, right?
Yeah.
So it doesn't count. But you get that one where you can see like the seam at the top, and it's the wrong color, and it's little.
There's like a black marker that they were trying to
crooked. That's my
Okay.
favorite when it's a little on, like not quite right, and we go, look at this poor guy. And then you see a woman, and you can tell that she has hair extensions or eyelashes or whatever. And you're like, yeah, that looks great. It's a totally different metric.
I think it has to do with men do that because it's delaying aging, trying to look younger, trying to look in that way. I think it's more of the case. Obviously, there's some people that have alopecia, whatever else, but it's more the case that you're trying to look younger, therefore you're putting that on. With women with extensions and lash extensions, it's not because they're trying to look younger, it's because they're trying to look different than what they are, and it's not necessarily a young thing, but I also think it looks bad either way.
Her answer.
Well, being vain as a man is looked at as odd.
Yeah, different
right?
than women.
A vain man conjures up certain things.
Yeah, you're right.
Right? Mm-hmm. Whereas women are, we expect them to be very meticulous in their appearances. Whereas if a guy is manscaping and toupéing, it's like, what's up? Well, just let it happen, man. It's fine. You'll be all right.
To you.
I'm going to come in tomorrow with a full head of hair.
That would be
What
terrific.
happened?
You, by the way, you're a little longer than you usually are. Did that
Right
trip
now?
to Phoenix, did the heat make it grow out a little bit?
It did, but Laker game tonight, so we'll
I
clean
gotta
it up
clean
before.
Yeah, you gotta get tightened up.
Yeah.
Crypto Ray, Family Feud gives you a call. You're going against a competing radio station, and you need to take 4 people from ESPN LA with you. Who do you got?
So I need 4.
You need 4 teammates.
Okay. You, John, Michael.
Michael.
Yeah. Michael, I think, would be pretty good at one of those.
Why?
He knows a lot about things. Like, he
Okay.
just knows a lot. And he's always very interested and will look into things that he doesn't know. And he has
That's
a lot
true.
of
That's a good
curiosity
point.
and stuff
That's
like
a good
that.
point.
And I'll take Ramona as my 4th.
It's a pretty good team.
That's a good squad.
I'm gonna have to vet Michael a little bit more. You're right. He is naturally curious. You're right about that.
Very curious.
But the Family Feud is kind of weird, right? It's not like Jeopardy. This would be better. I like your team for if there were ever Team Jeopardy.
Mm-hmm.
Family Feud, the answer is always something about poop or sex. That's always what it is, right? That no matter what the question is,
You also need some diversity and
sex
experience
are on the board.
too.
Okay, so here's the one thing I will say. Either Michael would kill it, or we'd find out quick that he does not have good answers. And he's where there's only... This actually is a good thing. Wasn't it? It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia? Was it with...
Dragon.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, but there's always a wild card in there.
Listen,
So, like, yeah.
He was surveyed. One of the guys from It's Always Sunny was surveyed. So every answer he gave, they're like, what are you talking about? And it was always on the board for one.
So the question was, what is an
funny.
animal that you eat that doesn't eat you? So essentially it's most animals. But then he goes, dragon.
And they're like, what are you doing?
I like
And
that.
it's on the board for one.
Sex and poop. Always. And dragons.
Yes.
Those
Yes.
are the 3
Those are
answers.
the
You'll
3.
dominate Family Food. One more. Jeff Bezos gets into a car accident with you. It's his fault. You got a little banged up, but nothing terribly serious.
Yep.
Does Sliwa flop his way into a major lawsuit to secure the bag, or does he do the honest thing and try not to secure the bag?
So I think initially, if I don't know it's Bezos, I get out, I get my insurance, everything else, and then we start talking, and then I start realizing it's Bezos. Immediately, I fall to the ground. Immediately. And I say, I can't move anything. And from that point on, I'm a stretcher to the ambulance directly to the hospital. And I'm playing that however long we got to play that thing out for. What am I investing? Am I investing 6 months? Am I investing a year? Guys,
whatever
life
takes.
is about business. You got to take care of those opportunities in front of you. It's a business decision.
It's terribly dishonest
Yes.
and 100% the right thing to do.
100 mil. I'm out the way. Just 100
Look,
mil.
let's
I'm out
just
of the
make
way.
this go away. Well, you just want me to fix your car? I think like 100 million is the pain and suffering.
I'm out of the way after that.
I think that is a fantastic idea. Welcome to Manson the Clown, a new Ask Slee participant. Thank you for that. Good job. Good job. Here's what we got coming up, Slee. The Clippers are down 3-1, and apparently everyone's decided that Russell Westbrook should be the MVP. Can we please stop rewriting history? That's next. It's Travis Slee, 710 ESPN.
All right, shout out Harris Resort SoCal. Hours of LA sports talk all day long. Each weekday, 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. This is Travis and Sliwa on 710 ESPN.
So I capped off the night. Yes, I told you I watched the Dodger game, which was, it's kind of nice when it's best when they're at Dodger Stadium, but when they're in the Midwest and the East, especially on the weekends, you get those early games. Start at 11 o'clock, got to knock that out, got to knock out a little NBA basketball. Went and got a haircut, and then came back and finished off the night with Oilers and Kings, which was across the street here, Game 4. Kings blew a 3-goal lead. They were ahead 3-0. They lost in overtime. This series has been, I know we don't talk a bunch of hockey, but I'm telling you, there is something about that every single shift, and especially once it gets into overtime, I know you're not a hockey person, but Oilers and Kings it's the Warriors and Kings. And it's up and down, it's back and forth, it's getting kind of chippy, and the Kings also, just like the other Kings, blew a huge chance to kind of grab this thing.
3-1.
And now it's 2-2 going back to the home team's ice.
That's one of the, I think if you said, especially certain events going on in LA, and we're just, look, Los Angeles has everything you want. You want these really, really great soccer matches. You get LAFC and you get the Galaxy, right? You get baseball. I don't need to tell you about going to Dodger Stadium and enjoying a game. NBA, on Saturday you had Kevin Durant, Devin Booker, Chris Paul, Russ, whatever, in the morning, and then in the evening you had the Lakers taking on Memphis. The hockey portion of what LA provides, and I know for playoff hockey, I got to get in one of those. I really do. I'm making a mistake because so many people are saying the same thing that you are. Oh, my gosh, this is such a great series. Oh, my gosh, so much fun.
Super exciting.
Yeah.
So we go out Friday night. I go out with a buddy, and we end up at a bar, and the Kings and Oilers are on, right? But for whatever reason, it's not on any. There's the indoor bar, and then there's an outdoor portion of the bar as well.
Okay.
And the outdoor portion has 4 TVs, kind of one pointing in every direction. None of them had the Kings and the Oilers on it. There was the one where we were standing had the Dallas Stars and Minnesota Wild.
Sure.
I
Yeah,
think,
that
right?
sounds like a good idea.
And so we asked the bartender, hey, can you put this one on the Kings and the Oil? And she was very nice. And she goes, I would love to. You're not the first person to ask, but the people at the end of the bar, they specifically asked for
that
this game. And so it goes to the end of the first period, right? So intermission starts, and we're like, hey, can we at least just turn it on while the intermission is? And so they turn the right game on. People now the bar is watching this thing, right? It's exciting. It's fun. Whatever intermission, it's like 15 minutes, right? They said, put our game back on. Everybody in the bar is like, really? You're the only 2 people in this place. And it's Friday night. It's Friday night at 8 o'clock or whatever it is. And they asked to turn it back on, and we literally bounced and went to another place. Like, this is stupid. I can't believe that we're catering. Everybody there wants to watch this. They got this stupid game.
in L.A. It's an L.A. team.
Yeah, that's a tough one.
They were there first.
Okay.
Do they get credit? I mean, do they get squatters' rights on the TV?
I think this is what I guess. How did that initial conversation goes? Because if they go to them and say, "Listen, we want to watch the Dallas game is going to be on. We really want to watch it," and if they're
Dallas.
if they're saying to them, "Hey, no problem, we're going to do that." What I would have done as a bartender, I just want to give you a heads up. The LA Kings are playing in a half hour, 45 minutes, whenever they start. It's going to go up on that TV. So you can have it now, but we have to cater to the masses.
How many TVs
Kind of
again?
what you have to do.
4.
Yeah, one could be dedicated to the Kings, one could be dedicated
But
to the Dallas
where
Stars.
we were posted up,
Yeah.
right? We can only see one of them. The other ones were not. There was basketball. I think there's a baseball game. There were things on other things.
Yeah, an Angel game, I think.
None of them should be on Dallas and
No, it
Minnesota.
shouldn't.
None of them. That's
Agreed.
insane to me.
Yeah, I was actually...
What was the Dallas score?
It's a good question.
Yeah.
For all I know, it was in quadruple overtime. I have no idea. I just know that the game I wanted to see wasn't on.
Funny thing happened, too. On Friday, I was bowling in Culver City with some friends.
122 was your score.
109.
No. I think I was like more 109, I guess. Okay. I honestly didn't pay that much attention. I got really bad because my arm got really sore. I think I just threw the ball in a weird way. Regardless, the TVs, none of them were on the Kings game either, which I thought was weird too.
Dallas lost.
They had the Dallas game.
5-1 on Friday, by the way.
They had
5-1.
5-1. You're going to tell me at the point it's 3-1. They're not saying, guys, change the channel. I don't want to watch it anymore.
So the game ends up in overtime. It's a 1-goal game the entire time. Every shift, every shot is 5-1.
5-1.
Get the hell out
Yeah,
of
the
here.
TVs were on the Dallas game. They were on the Timberwolves game, and then a random thing that was like playing TikTok videos of like weird like sport things, which is weird. I'm just like, why are you doing that?
Like fails where people hit.
That stuff.
Yeah, every bar's got one TV that's on that channel.
Yeah.
Is it the Chive? I think it's the Chive.
Probably. My friends and I just had a punch bowl of liquor and we were good.
It's guys riding skateboards and hitting their, on railings. That's all it is for
They should
9
give
hours.
the remote to all the customers.
Just give it to me.
Just pass it around.
Care about this. Local stuff first. Playoff stuff first.
Yep.
Local stuff. Local playoff stuff. Top of it. It was very, very frustrating.
NBA TV third.
Fine.
Why is
At least
Sliwa watching Hawks
it's
Celtics highlights?
Playoffs. At least that's
Yeah.
what it is. And I didn't.
So you're a little bar hopping on Friday.
Little too. Just a walking distance.
I mean,
How much is up at the
basically,
hop?
So we're walking out of the second bar.
This
We're
is
walking
UCSB.
Back, we're walking back to go home, right?
Mm-hmm.
And because we parked by the first bar, we kind of had to walk back towards the first bar. We're walking by this little coffee shop, and it's not a bad neighborhood, but you're in a place where you're paying attention to your surroundings,
Okay.
right? And hey, keep it down out there. And my buddy and I were just talking. We weren't being loud at all. And I kind of turned around and I'm thinking it's somebody that's out of their mind. Well, hey, I said shut up. And now I'm turning around. I'm like,
what?
and I turn around, I look, I'm like, hey, take it easy. Just kind of one of those things. But I'm not like engaging. I'm just like, hey, take it easy. And then Travis, you need to shut up. And I turn around, I'm like, what? It was a friend of mine stumbling out of the coffee shop. Another person was out
I
there.
think I've ever heard somebody stumbling out of a coffee shop.
It was late. There was some stuff going on. It was you go there to soak up with the pancakes and the eggs and all those things.
I love the take it easy.
I just shut up, not
because I also see you. This
back.
makes me think of when you're on the road, and if somebody honks at you, how you don't look and just nothing.
My bad. Even if it's not.
Yeah.
Just keep it moving. Yeah, hey, take it easy over there. It was.
I'm like, mother.
We saw the game-winning goal in overtime, so it was good.
Done.
And don't worry, Capitana Matt says you're missing out on the Minnesota-Dallas series. There's a bunch of animosity between the squads.
A lot of animosity.
Physical.
When I move to St. Paul, I will get engaged in that. But until then, I wanted to see the other one. Let's try a quick phone call here. Let's go to Redondo and Matt. Matt, you're on with Trav and Slee. What's up, Matt?
Hey, good morning, guys. Quick, I think Darvin deserves an A- on the season, dealing with injuries, Westbrook, all the post-trade stuff. But he is still a rookie coach, and I question his timeout sometimes, and I question his roster moves. I wonder why Wenyen can't get in to guard Jackson occasionally. I know Rui's better offensively, and Lonnie Walker-Ford was one of our best shooters from outside. He can't even get in the game. What do you guys think about that?
Matt, appreciate you calling in. The Lonnie thing is more. Lonnie Walker, if you remember early on in the season, I'm not telling you that the Lakers were playing unbelievable basketball. Lonnie there was a stretch there where you're like, hey, is this the third best player on the Lakers? Is this one of the key guys that they're going to have? He was starting for a long time. I don't understand why they don't give him more opportunity, but that's been the case since the trade deadline, so it's not anything new.
No.
It really isn't anything new.
There just comes a time where you get your guys, and we're going to ride these guys. And the good news is there's always a moment in a playoff series where a guy who has not gotten to play very much
gets a chance.
All of a sudden, because of foul trouble and injury or something, and you just give him a few minutes, and it kind of clicks, and then all of a sudden they start to roll a little bit. I don't know if that's going to happen for him, but look, they got their guys, and they're going to ride those guys. That's why they made those moves. Those pieces fit together pretty well. And I would not expect them to start throwing stuff against the wall to see what fixes.
All right, it's a Michelob Ultra Reaction Monday on 710 ESPN, reacting to the Lakers' win on Saturday night behind AD's 31, LeBron's 25, plus getting you pumped up for Game 4 coming up tonight. It's all presented by Michelob Ultra, a refreshing and balanced flavor with only 2.6 carbs and 95 calories. Michelob Ultra. It's only worth it if you enjoy it. Please enjoy responsibly.
Clippers are on the verge. They're down 3-1. Not a huge surprise, right? That this is kind of how we thought it was going to go. What's surprising is that the Clippers have been in most of these games, that the Clippers have been close in these games, that Kawhi Leonard basically stole the opener and nearly stole Game 2 and then didn't play in the next two because Kawhi Leonard is injury-prone, right? And he went down again. Can we stop with something, though, please? Can we please stop with Russ is, look at he's back. No. This is the exact right situation for a player like Russell Westbrook. You have no other options. Your best players are hurt. He can have the ball in his hands for 98% of the time. He can go 9,000 miles an hour. He's playing hard. I'll give him all the credit in the world for that. But his team is about to go out in the first round of the playoffs again. For the 8th time in his last 9 playoff appearances, they're going to go out in the first round. Not just exclusively because of him, but this is one of these rewriting of histories. He has saved his career. He will play on another team next year. He'll probably get some sort of decent contract, nothing like he's on right now. But this, what did we have wrong about Russell? Nothing. This is the situation in which he thrives, where he can just solo the entire time, be high energy, and kind of make it interesting, but ultimately lose. We're right back where we were on those other teams.
It's kind of funny. I actually think Westbrook, I think he has played his way into more opportunities, right? By the time he left the Lakers, and the question was going to be, hey, is this guy going to be on an NBA roster? Who's going to pick him up? Utah just wanted him so they can get rid of him. They wanted assets and everything else that they got. I like what he's done. I think both things can be right. I think you could say Russ has done everything he possibly can in this first round, probably played himself into some type of a contract moving forward. And then you could also say the same thing of it's got to be very, very specific for Russell Westbrook for him to have success, which is okay. KD went out of his way to talk about Russ. Chris Paul went out of his way to talk about Russ. But I think it has more to do with this. Think about the player over the last year and a half. It's his fault, it's his fault, it's his fault, it's his fault. I think it's more just a defense for a player that has had the finger pointed at him for a year plus.
Fair.
I don't think it really has changed the narrative about Russ. Russ didn't all of a sudden become a 45% three-point shooter. He didn't all of a sudden become a different player. he's excelling in a situation that is specific to the situation. If Kawhi was still healthy and PG was still healthy, the team is obviously, the dynamic is completely different. But I think I don't have a problem with people coming to his, specifically players. When players, your peers, come to somebody's defense, I think it's because he's got so much heat over the last
Fair enough,
year and a
but
half.
I have a real problem with people telling me something that's clearly not true. That Russell
What are
Westbrook,
they saying? Tell me what are they saying.
This idea that he just needs to be in the right spot, and Russell Westbrook, guys, he is a one-trick pony. He is a guy that plays 10,000 miles an hour and shoots his team out of as many games as he puts them in. He plays really hard. We will stipulate to that. But this idea, he's still an impact. Not really. No, he's not. His teams lose. His teams are right around 500 almost always. He puts up bonkers numbers. He is fun to watch when he's going at his best. But this idea, you just put him in the right situation and watch out. His teams never thrive. Mm-hmm. They just don't. Other than very, very early in his career with KD and with James Harden, mm-hmm. This has been a very specific type of player. And just because the situation that needs to be specified arose for the Clippers doesn't mean that he's rediscovered some magic juice that's going to propel him to the top levels of the NBA again. This is what he does. Hey, we got nothing. I'll do it. That's what he does really, really well, and they lose.
It's kind of unfortunate here, the Kawhi situation. Now you're back to the series is done, right? Phoenix will close it out most likely tomorrow, but series should be at least 2-2 if Kawhi is there and he's healthy. We're going to lose. We're going to lose what I think was. Can I tell you something about Phoenix? And you and I, at least for me, before the playoffs started, I thought Phoenix is the team to beat in the West. They haven't looked that impressive.
They haven't.
They really haven't.
They have absolutely have not. I want to go back to something very quickly you said about Kawhi. Kawhi's hurt. That's not an excuse, right? That we just annihilate Anthony Davis for being in and out of the lineup. Mm-hmm. That we, you can't. What's the difference with Kawhi? I understand that Kawhi doesn't have as many games. Just like it was completely unimpactful the way that AD occasionally does. But I don't care why Kawhi doesn't play. He doesn't play enough. Mm-hmm. Like we can't. Well, Kawhi, no, he doesn't play. They've played 4 games. He played in 2 of them. When he played, he was terrific. But
played 50 regular season games, 51, whatever it was.
You can't rely on a player like that. You can't rely on a guy who's going to play 50 games a year, who's going to play 50% of the playoff games. Is he good? Yeah, but half the time. What value is there in that?
Availability is the most powerful of everything, and he's not available. And he's not available in this series. And I'd be surprised if he plays another game.
And it's just, it's just, I don't know.
Plays another game this series.
I don't know what it is, Al, but that thing clearly doesn't work. I understand that in a dream scenario where everybody's healthy and everybody's functioning, that maybe it kind of would look. But why would year 5 be different than the first 4 when all you've had is one or the other or both of them watching from the sidelines?
You're not wrong. No, you're not wrong, because the only surprise next year would be that they're available. That would be the only surprise. It would not be a surprise if they're not available. You would just be like, wow, Paul George and Kawhi are healthy in the playoffs, and they've gone 2 rounds and they're still there and the Clippers are still alive. That would be the surprise.
All right, some good news for the Dodgers over the weekend, some not-so-good news, and a really scary thing is about to start happening for them. That's coming up next. It's Travis Lee, 710. So you sent a few pics from yesterday, the pizza place, Pizzeria Bianco that you went to. Not the original one, the one in Town and Country. Is that
Town
what you
and
said
Country.
it was?
Yeah. Like 10 minutes away.
Yeah. What did you get? I tried to look at some of the pictures you sent, but I couldn't quite tell what it was.
So did the margarita.
Oh, classic.
Kind of have to get that. So she was going to pick one. I was going to pick one. I want to look at the one that she picked.
The middle one looks like it has like
it has
maybe
pistachios
and red onions. That looks fantastic.
I'm going to tell you what it's called here because I want to get it right. It's called the Rosa.
Okay.
And it's red onion, pistachios, a little bit of rosemary. It's kind of got a little bit more the Parmigiano
Reggiano?
Yes.
The undisputed king of cheeses?
Is that the undisputed?
Some people say so.
Well, it's got a little bit more of like a bitter taste to it, I guess you can call it, a little bit more. So it's a little different. So the
pistachios have a little bit of a bitter taste to them.
The type of pizzas were polar opposite. I wanted to do just a classic because I like the red sauce, so I wanted to go with that. She picked this one. It's kind of a perfect little balance.
Was there any left? Did you polish it all off? Did you take some back to the game? What did you do?
Great question. Here's the situation I was in. In a normal situation, these pizzas are pretty decent size, okay? So I'm not finishing one on my own.
I completely agree.
Okay, I'm not finishing one on my own.
They cut it into 4 pieces, probably 3.
They cut it into
2?
6.
Oh, okay.
They cut it into 6.
Okay.
So basically 3 on 3 is half. I'm eating more than 3, but if I get 4 in, I feel good. I'm going to go about my weight. And the pizza's super thin, so it's not like you're eating a regular. So our situation was, well, we're going to the ballpark. So we're not going. It's not like I'm taking the pizza with me. Whatever we
put it in your pocket.
Whatever, and I'm also ordering an Uber. So like the last thing I want to do is just take food with me into their car.
Sounds
and everything
like an
else.
Uber driver problem, but go ahead.
Okay, so I've done that before, and I felt very uncomfortable.
Yeah, it is
and
weird.
the fact that it didn't bother
Offer 'em
them,
a bite and it's all good.
The fact that it didn't bother them, but that was a different situation. Okay, so this one I was like, all right, well, we're clearly not going to eat the 2 pizzas. Plus, we got a salad before. Plus, they come out with a focaccia bread or whatever that is prior, right, with just the olive oil. I didn't leave until I finished. Like it was a mission that I did not want to leave any pizza behind.
You ate it all.
Bro, I ate it all, and it was not. I was.
So you ate all of your pizza, and then whatever was
well,
left.
she.
I know you guys mixed and matched,
yeah.
but there was 0 pizza left.
I easily had 7 of those.
That's a lot of pizza.
It's way too much pizza. The only thing that I will actually kind of say, which again is a little surprising, you didn't feel like you would in a regular going to eat regular.
It's really good ingredients made really, really well.
Yeah.
And look, it's still a lot of pizza. Don't get me wrong, but it's a little bit better than if you had 2 full Little Caesars pizzas. They sit on your stomach a little differently.
The waiter tried doing something that don't do that next time. The guy, there's a couple slices still left, and he just literally walked by. You guys all done? And started coming to our plate. I'm like, first off, I didn't tell you we're done. I didn't say come take this. I haven't even give you my credit card yet. Yeah. Guy was trying to take the pizza.
You can ask, hey, can I get that out of your way? But you don't just pick it up. You should have bit him on the wrist.
I growled.
Yeah, that'll work.
I growled.
The hand that feeds.
Yeah. Rookie has done that to me, and I did it to him.
You don't mess with an animal.
Grab my damn
and
pizza.
food. That's not a good deal. All right, you want the good news, the bad news, or do you want the thing that I'm a little bit? I've been mentioning this a while, and it's here. It starts tomorrow.
Let's go. Good news.
Good news is Max Muncy back.
Jeez.
Max Muncy.
Beyond back.
The guy that the Dodgers kind of found a few years ago that was a guy that the A's decided they couldn't use, that was a walk machine, that hit a bunch of home runs, was an incredible on-base percentage guy. That dude's back. He broke his elbow 2 years ago, had a dreadful season last year, and I think he was probably trying to come back from that injury.
Yeah.
Got off to a little bit of a slow start. Slee, he not only looks like the Muncy from a few years ago, he looks like an even better version. I'm not saying he's going to hit 10 home runs in a week like he just did.
He's leading the league
All of
in home runs.
No, he went from, hey, is this guy ever going to get on track to leading baseball in home runs in about 2 weeks? It was an amazing run.
The way he's too, it's kind of funny, especially the Cubs series. Now, sometimes I was joking around with you. I'm like, if the Padres get 2 walks in a row, I'm cheering because they don't have any offense right now, even though they got all these players.
Muncy's hitting shots where he's just stopping and like, I'm just going to go ahead and watch this thing go 450 feet.
Titanic home runs.
Yeah.
I mean, he's been locked in, as has my guy, James Outman. You can't get him out either. This one scares me a little bit.
Okay.
Honestly, guys that are doing this at this stage in their career scare me a little bit. It shouldn't be this easy, right? You're not supposed to show up in the big leagues and just have an OPS of 1,100. It's just everywhere you go, home run, couple of doubles, triples, steals, bases, throwing guys out from the outfield. It looks way too easy. The baseball gods do not like that. They do not like new. If you're Mike Trout, you can show up and do that because you're Mike Trout. If you're Juan Soto, you can come on and do. James Outman is not that, right? He is a very nice young player who looks to be on the path to being an all-star caliber player.
Yep.
But you're not supposed to look like Ted Williams the first month of your season. I'm waiting for the market correction that I know is coming. I just don't want to be here for it.
What is that? Keep buying real estate. It doesn't matter how much. It doesn't matter what the interest rate. Don't worry about your payment. Just they're going to keep going up. They're going to keep going up. But there is. You're right about the adjustment. But I will just say this:
he's so good.
I'm sure there's a lot of Dodger fans that are just sitting back and enjoying what this kid is doing. I'm sure, I don't know what the Dodger store looks like, but if they're not selling some Outman jerseys, make sure that you sell them right now.
T-shirt. Like this isn't, we're not quite, like a jersey feels like you're moving in together, right? That's a very serious commitment. Like a T-shirt is, maybe you spend the night at my house a couple of days a week. That's fine. We're all right.
$20. It's reasonable.
I don't feel like I need to go all the way to the jersey, but he's been terrific. Here's the part I did not like over the weekend. Two things. This is going to sound ridiculous. Oral Hershiser brought this up on Saturday, and it's something that I've mentioned to you, I believe, beginning of last week. The Dodgers don't score unless they hit home runs. It's their only method of scoring runs. I think they scored 22 runs in the series this weekend. 19 of them were produced on a home run. Okay, now, the good news is they scored 22 runs, and that's a really nice
took 3 or 4.
Took 3 or 4, looked good doing it. But the day that they didn't do it, they nearly got perfectoed. They couldn't get anything going. You're going to face really good pitching in the postseason. You're not going to face that fifth guy in the bullpen.
Sure.
You're probably not going to face that fifth starter. You might not even get a second time through the order on that fourth starter. You're going to have to find a way to manufacture some runs. I'm not saying that you bunt and do all these things, but you look at the Dodgers' batting average, you look at the things, their run production, it's higher, but when you look at their other things about scoring runs without home runs, they're at the bottom of the league. You're going to have to. You're not going to hit a bunch of home runs.
No, got to play
Justin
small ball.
Verlander.
Sure.
You're not going to hit a bunch of home runs off of Scherzer or Max Fried or these guys. You're going to have to run or two here and there. They're not very good at that.
Yeah, that's. I will look at this. It's kind of funny the way the division shapes up because, I don't know how everybody thought starts-wise it's going to look, and I think the Dodgers had a lot of questions. I think Arizona, we all knew, hey, it's a young team. Let's see how much success they can have. Probably third place in the division. And the Padres were the one team that you thought, okay, they probably get off to a good start. You just assume that Soto's going to start playing well. Machado's going to be a stud. Tatis is eventually going to come back. You got 3 teams within half a game of each other.
All
right?
of them average.
All of them average.
Yeah.
Padres have been the definition of average at 12-12. The Dodgers, who it's kind of funny and it's deceiving too. When the Padres win, they're not crushing teams. They might have one occasionally like that, but they're usually barely winning. The Dodgers, it's either
10-0
yes.
they lose or 10-0 they win.
It's just so it's kind of all over the place. And Arizona's going to come back to reality. But I think if you're the Dodgers right now, you got to feel all right. You're 23 games in, whatever the case is. It's not like the Padres have jumped out and they got a 3-4 game lead in the division. They actually been behind trying to get back to 500.
Let's try a quick phone call here. Let's go to Santa Monica and Jeremy. Jeremy, you're on with Trav and Slee. What's up, Jeremy?
Hi, guys. How you doing?
All right.
I was just hearing you guys talk about Outman and kind of the baseball gods of it all coming out of the gate like he is, and I might have missed it because I just tuned in at that point, but everything you're saying really sounds like the way Cody started his career off as a Dodger.
It's very similar. The difference is Cody was Rookie of the Year, and then shortly thereafter was MVP. Like, he had a bunch of seasons in a row to where it wasn't just that he was hot. You felt like he was that sort of guy. With Outman, right now it just feels crazy hot. I'm curious when he does cool, and then fast forward to July, fast forward to August. What does it all look like when the market kind of corrects itself?
Right, I do agree with you, but also like I feel like if we're rewinding back to 2017 and looking at Cody coming out of the minors when he did because of Adrian's injuries, I think it's the exact same situation. I have to say, like and Outman was kind of the top prospect for the last couple of years. I don't know if Cody was particularly that when he came up, or if he was just a massive surprise. I feel like he was more on the surprise front than on the this guy's going to be the guy front when he came up. It just we'll see what happens with the whole season, but obviously Cody was like probably the best team, even better than his MVP season as far as being clutch and taking the team on his back in that rookie season.
Thanks for the call, Jeremy. Appreciate it. Yeah, sorry to cut you off right there. No, look, he's off to as good a start as you could ever ask for. He may, in fact, be an all-star caliber player. He may, in fact, be what Jeremy was just suggesting, which is the best player in a crop of guys that we all thought, whether you look at Bush or Diego Cartaya or Miguel Vargas, or these guys that are all part of that next wave, like we've talked about, whether it's Smith and Seager and Bellinger and all these other players, Arias, all these guys that they've developed. Outman may be the best of the bunch. You just can't say he's the best of the bunch a month into it. Through this part, yeah, but Miguel Vargas looks like he's coming alive a little bit, but just enjoy it while it's happening because it doesn't happen forever, and let this dude be Roy Hobbs for a couple of weeks and a couple of months and just enjoy the ride.
That's why I asked you the question last week. I said, at what point do you say, hey, I think this guy is, you know what, I think he's going to be a regular, he belongs in the league, he's going to be this good, not this good, but a real contributor to the Dodgers team. And you said of course, it's obviously a lot longer than
next
22
season.
days.
Yeah, it's next season. If he's not going to hit 330 or whatever he is. If he's a everyday major leaguer and finishes the season somewhere north of 260 and hits 20 home runs, 25 home runs,
damn good season to walk into the Dodgers.
That is an amazing season. And then he goes from being okay, we found a guy and maybe you bat him a little higher in the order, maybe you put a little more on his plate. He's really good. I'm not quite there yet.
It's fair.
Going to get the T-shirt and see what happens next. I still have a very big concern that we'll get to in a little bit. But next, it's Factor Cap. Travis Lee, 710
time for Factor Cap.
Oh, that's cap. That's so cap, Dad.
Everything I've said is a cap, but I'm going to go fact.
First of all, it's not a cap. It's
No, it
just
is a cap.
Welcome to Factor Cap.
Hey guys, Berg just told us that he watched the Super Mario movie with his daughter
I
over the
did.
weekend. So did you cry during the movie?
No, absolutely not.
My friend.
Why did you cry?
Because I cry at everything. I have tears constantly streaming down my face.
My friend who saw the movie on Friday before we went bowling, she said that she cried during the movie, and I was like, why would you cry during the Mario movies? Apparently it's when Luigi went up and stood up for Mario at some point. I haven't seen it, but that's
that
just
wasn't an obvious
what she
thing
described.
Luigi, bro.
Travis, would you cry?
I'm really trying to find a way to wrap my head around crying at a video game movie. I just give me a second. I'll circle back to me later. This is a very
Luigi, man.
By the way,
alarming update.
It was a kids movie. There was a lot of cool nostalgia, but besides that, it was just a straight kids movie.
A buddy of mine took his son to see it, and we were talking this week. He goes, "It's the worst movie I've ever seen in my life."
It
Now,
really
did
wasn't
they-
anything amazing.
Have
There was
they
some cool
killed
nostalgia.
it box office?
Yes.
Is that what's
They
happening?
have
Doing
made
it?
Yes.
so much money.
This is the one thing I don't understand about that, because most of those types of movies, kids movies, also cater to the adults. It's
It
like a
didn't.
perfect balance. That one didn't do
It
anything.
did not cater to the adults.
doesn't have
no.
to.
It didn't have to. The nostalgia was the catering.
We were laying around yesterday, and I said to Bobby and Michael, I'm like, "Hey, you guys want to go see a movie?" Like, because we were just kind of hanging out, and they're like, "Yeah, open up." There's literally not one single thing that was like, "Yeah, let's go see that."
That you haven't already seen.
Well, that I've
Because
only
Air.
seen Air, but
Yeah.
everything else was like, I need
I don't know,
Air
it's
Part
out.
2. Let's
Air 2.
let's do after he signs the contract. Get Affleck on that one.
That was called The Last Dance.
You're right.
Right, exactly. All right, so the Toronto Maple Leafs are up over the Tampa Bay Lightning in the NHL hockey, and Toronto Maple Leafs are known for being a team that is always pretty good, if not really good, but they always get bounced in the first round. They have broken their fans' hearts a million times over. So my statement is, it's better for your team to never make the playoffs than have your team be good every year and get surprise bounced in the first round. Travis, Factor Cap.
Cap. The Dodgers, I know they don't get bounced in the first round every year, but for the last 10 years, the
High
Dodgers,
expectations.
massive
and, yep.
expectations. They're in the playoffs every year, and it's incredibly disappointing when it doesn't go their way, whether it's in the first round or in the World Series. But I look, would you rather be a Dodger or an Angel fan and know that we're going to get another swing at this thing?
Clippers.
And maybe it'll go the Lakers or the Clippers, and know that you're going to get another swing at this thing, or no matter what you do, ownership or bad luck or whatever is constantly in the way from success. You can only walk through the door if you keep knocking on it, and eventually that thing will open for you. I keep telling myself that.
Berg?
Yeah, it's Cap. I would much rather have my team in the playoffs and thinking that they have a shot every single time, and then not like the Kings.
Just to shatter your heart.
Yeah, to shatter my heart and be like, God, this team sucks, and I don't really even want to watch them because they're terrible and never make the playoffs. It's like, Taylor with the Kings, with the Sacramento Kings.
Don't do that. Don't do that.
It was one of those.
Yeah,
I'm
waving
just
at me.
sticking
What the hell was that?
Just shot for shots.
Hey, go get me something to drink.
But
Get
no,
outta
like,
here.
the Los Angeles Kings are that way. I mean, they won a couple, but for the most part, like they've been bad for most of my life, and so I would much rather them be in the playoffs year after year after year.
Al?
Okay, so I think I have a better chance of speaking to this a little bit more closely. It's Cap, but damn, is it really stressful. So as somebody that has not seen that much success from the San Diego Padres, last year was so incredibly stressful because you actually had games that were meaningful. And the only reason why I bring that up is because what it also does when your team is actually in it, you might say on a Sunday, I'm going to go to Phoenix and go watch this team. You're not going to do that if the franchise sucks or there's nothing exciting to watch. So I think it's Cap. Give me the chance in the playoffs, and even if it falls flat on your face because Nate Kading can't hit a field goal, it's
Look,
okay.
This is the whole point of these games is you don't know what's going to happen. You might get your guts ripped out, but you also might have the best day of your life. Yep. That's what makes it fun.
Yeah.
Taylor?
I'm capping this too. Kings, first time being back in the playoffs
Great
in 15
example.
years, and it's a hell of a lot of fun, no matter what happens. So I'd rather have that every
Harrison
year.
Barnes should have made that shot.
He does this all the time. It's amazing.
He should have
Harrison
made
Barnes
that
is a
shot.
joke.
Just saying.
So yesterday...
It's not
and-
choke. Nobody expects him to hit the shot.
Pretty
No,
open.
it's a joke.
Oh,
It's
a joke. Got it.
Yeah.
Yesterday in Succession, there was a very hot person on the screen a lot of the time. His name is Alexander Skarsgård, and he plays Mattson in Succession. And he uses, at one point in time, he's in a negotiation. He takes off his raincoat and shows off his abs a little bit to the guys in the room. And so it's form of intimidation.
I've done that at Starbucks.
Obviously. So hot
very
people are intimidating just because they're hot. Berg, factor cap.
Cap. No, I don't think they're intimidating. It's just about a mindset when you're talking to any of them or watching any of them. I mean, they're great to look at on the screen, and if there's a lot of hot people around here. Sleep for one of them.
Sure. Yeah. Very intimidating. Very hot.
And like you just have to be able to walk up and talk to them. So no, I don't know. Cap. I don't think they're intimidating.
I think there's some fact to this. I think there is. It's almost like, I don't know, use as an example. It's like you're in college or there's a beautiful, beautiful girl that you see at the grocery store or something like that. I think naturally there's a little intimidation. You're like, wow, this girl is absolutely gorgeous. Where you're not treating the person normally, you're treating them a little different. I think it's fact.
Trev?
I'm with Al. Because there's the pressure or the intimidation that comes along with if you're trying to talk to the woman in the grocery store, whatever it is. You know that she's
Produce
had that
aisle,
interaction with 50 other people that day. And to try to cut through the clutter of whatever that is, there's pressure that comes along with that,
She
right?
just doesn't want to talk to us.
That's the pressure.
Yeah.
That's the intimidation. Well, why is she going to want to talk to me if she's that beautiful, or vice versa?
Yeah.
The pressure that comes along with trying to impress somebody like that is different than if you're just talking to a person because you're getting to know them. It's different.
And all they probably want is just treat. It's funny because you've heard girls talk about this, girls who are incredibly beautiful, whatever the case is, that there's a lot of people that do not go up for the reasons that we're talking about, that they don't have that conversation with her where somebody else maybe it's a little bit different.
That? Lies.
No, I think just think about what we just said. We didn't go up and talk to her.
You and I might not
normally.
have. Mike Montour would.
Yeah.
I don't think.
Yeah, we've all got the guy that is going in there. Look, you see a lot of. Never mind. I'm gonna leave it right there.
No, go ahead.
I think Taylor's got the confidence. You got the confidence, don't you, Taylor?
Yeah, Taylor, what do you say?
To talk to hot people?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think they're intimidating. I don't know.
There it is.
They're just normal people, right?
Sure.
Yes.
Yeah.
So cap.
So not normal.
5'11" and gorgeous.
All right, so Ryan Reynolds and Rob McElhaney's soccer team that they own, Wrexham, just got promoted.
Yeah.
For the first time in 15 years. And so if you haven't seen the video, it's very emotional. It shoots Rob and Ryan, and they're like almost overjoyed with emotion because they've been owning this team for a couple of years, and it's been a long journey to get to where they are. So owning a team wouldn't be very fun. As in, it's a lot of stress, it's a lot of money, it's a lot of these things in your life. So owning a team wouldn't be very fun. Taylor, factor cap?
I think cap. I don't know. It looks like Steve Ballmer's having a lot of fun. I mean,
true.
He just goes to every game, sits at the front row, screams his head off. Looks like he's having a blast.
Trev?
I think it would be an amazing amount of fun because what makes it fun is the emotion, right? If it's just a straight business transaction, then buy stocks, right? Play
Real
the
estate.
market or buy real estate, right? The reason that owning a team would be is you actually have, as much as you love the Lakers, as much as I love the Dodgers, we don't have any skin in the game.
Yeah.
Right? We're fans. But imagine that you are still that fan, but you actually have skin in the game as to whether it goes or not. Just a total. Now, I'm sure the lows are even worse than the lows that you and I get.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, that would be an amazing run to be the guy that ultimately makes the decision. We're going to fire that guy, or we're going to go spend some money to acquire that player. It would be the biggest juice in the world.
Berg?
Oh, yeah, no, it's cap. Steve Ballmer was a great example of it. Mark Cuban's another one. Jerry Jones. You have to be that type of owner that just wants to be a part of everything. It's way more fun if you make it fun. If it's not just it's a numbers game.
Al?
So cap for me as well. The only thing I would say to this is you want to have the resources too. Like you don't want to be the poorest
It
owner.
can't be your sole source of income.
You don't want to be the A's? You don't own the A's?
I mean, there's a way to do it. Not every team is created equally, right? Like the Oklahoma City Thunder can still have success even though they don't have nearly as many resources as the Knicks and the Lakers. But you want to have some resources, but definitely cap. That'd be amazing.
Yeah.
The A's run differential, since you brought them up,
Minus 100?
keep going.
Oh, it went up. Oh, I didn't see what it was.
Wow.
Saturday it was minus 100.
103.
103.
100. They've
That's
given
not even a team.
4-18. No, and that's why they're going to Vegas, and they'll probably.
So what are they going to do in the couple
Not till
years? There's like a
27.
stadium that holds 10,000. It's
stadium.
yeah.
Minus 103. Come out to the ballpark.
Yeah,
Watch us lose 9-1 tonight.
And in Vegas, what if you're not going to have they have a 110 first pitch?
By the way, the guys that they got rid of, like Matt Chapman, Matt Olson, and
There's a
and
ton
Simeon,
of good players.
Oh, they're going crazy
they
right
are.
now.
They don't have
and
trouble.
They just had them all together like 2 years ago.
They don't have trouble identifying the right
it's
players to
ridiculous.
draft. They just can't pay to keep them there.
What a
all right.
mess.
Speaking of baseball, I want to go back to the Dodgers and what's coming up for them on their schedule because they're 12-11 playing against mostly mediocre teams. They don't see another mediocre team for nearly 6 weeks. That's coming up next. It's Trav and Slee, 710. All right, quick tweet here before we talk about this is about the Dodgers, but it'll get us going here a little bit. It's from Randy Frenchman, and Randy writes, "My favorite thing about James Outman is that Artie Moreno is too stupid to trade for him." Okay, that's A, very funny, but B, that's also very, very spot on. That the Angels are starting to do what they did. They got a little lucky with back-to-back home runs to beat the Royals, who stink over the weekend.
Yeah, what they had, I think 3 wins coming into that series.
Yeah, they're not a strong team at all. Ohtani's leaving. And if you were doing this correctly, and you were doing this to try to build a winning organization, to try to build a team that can compete year after year, or at least give you long chunks of time that you can compete,
yeah.
James Outman, Julio Urias, Dustin May. These are the guys that you say, listen, we'll give you Ohtani, but I need all of that, and I need Diego Cartaya, and I need, Michael Bush or whoever else you see. That this is how you build a team, because if you think, well, we're still in it, and we're not going to trade this guy, and you don't end up getting in it, or even if you do, you get knocked out right away, or if Ohtani's already made up his mind regardless of what you do, you get nothing. You get a compensatory draft, but good luck. You've proven you can't pick the right guys.
Let me ask you that question, because I think this hasn't been talked about enough. If you could, you kind of see this a lot in the NBA a little bit as well. You're saying, okay, hey, that player is going to become an unrestricted free agent at the end of the year.
Mm-hmm.
However, you can trade for him at the deadline, or you can just say, well, why would I give up it's a risk. I'm not telling you that it's not a risk, but if there's one thing that the Dodgers have done, and I'm not saying that this is why Outman is getting the playing time that he is, but I also wouldn't be surprised if the Dodgers said, let's bring up a couple of these young guys. Let's let them get some opportunities in the majors. If one of them hit, what does that do to their value? It skyrockets a guy like Outman that a month ago, his value, and I know it's early, but it's less. If you're the Dodgers and you're asking yourself, you're getting closer to the trade deadline, are you going to go make a trade for Shohei Ohtani, or do you know that you're one of the few teams that have a real legitimate shot at Ohtani in the offseason? Do you take that risk and say, I don't want to give up we're giving up all these young players. We're giving up players that are actually doing things right now. Do we take the chance and say, Ohtani only has a couple destinations that he can go to?
Yep.
The Dodgers are certainly one of those destinations. I'm okay if the Dodgers said, I know there's a lot that can happen between now and the trade deadline. If they said, we're going to take our chances, we're going to wait till the offseason, we're not going to give up Jack, you know what, we're going to keep all these guys here, and then we're going to go after Ohtani.
It's the $1 million question, maybe the $600 million question, right? I'm going to have to give him $600 million or $550, whatever the number is. I can either just spend just straight cash, go buy him, acquire the player, or I can go spend straight cash, and by the way, you get my 3 best prospects. That's the way. The risk becomes, okay, you wait, saying we're going to get him in the offseason. You know what? We've had a good relationship with his aide, whatever it may be. We're very, very likely to get him. San Diego wants to take a shot with him, or San Francisco wants to take a shot with him for a month or two and see what they got. What if he loves it? What if he realizes, I didn't realize what this place was all about? I found my forever home. That's the risk you take. And then you just flat out don't get him. For most guys, I would do what you're talking about. I'll wait. If I think I'm going to get him, I'll wait. I don't have to do it right now. With him, I don't think you can put yourself in that position where, what if he falls in love with the Yankees? What if he says, I thought I hated New York? I love it. I love it. I can't believe that I thought it was this, and this is I never would have played anywhere else had I not been here for these 2 months. That's okay.
Let me ask you this: what players that are playing right now for the Dodgers, if they're going to go make a trade at the deadline, I'm just curious. What do you think it would take?
Oh, I thought you say, who would you say? No, you can't have him. The answer is nobody.
What would it take? Let's say the Angels come to their senses, and let's say the Angels say, "Okay, guys, we know he's going to leave. Our goal was, can we make a playoff run? We're not going to make a playoff run."
Yeah.
The Dodgers have as much talent as anybody in Major League Baseball. What do you think it takes in order to get a deal done?
I'll give you specific guys in just a second, but what I'm looking for is a package of guys that are already proven to be good Major League players.
Agreed.
And then a bunch of prospects after that. I need both of those things, not one or the other. So I need, and this isn't a perfect example because he's a free agent at the end of the year, but I need Julio. I need something that I can tell my fans that I not only to get a good player, I got an all-star back. I got a guy that could potentially be an award winner. I got one of those guys. I need another high-level major league player. Again, not Max Muncy, something like that. Probably not both of those guys, but one of those guys. The other thing is I'm going to need Outman. I'm going to need May. I'm going to need Gonsolin or 2 of those 3 guys. I'm going to need some guys that are major league ready guys. And, oh, by the way, the kid you have in Double-A, that kid you have in Single-A, the kid that you took 10th overall 2 years ago, I need him, and him. That's what you're going to get for Ohtani. He's that good. He's the best slugger. He's the best pitcher. You're getting 2 Hall of Fame caliber talents. You're going to have to pay for it. It's both.
I look, when I hear that comment, and you're right, there is risk to it. There's incredible risk of waiting till the end of the season. I think so much of this is also going to – where are the Dodgers by the time you're in June as well?
Well, you ready for that?
Yeah.
Because May is around the corner, right? Today's April 24th. Off day today. I'm just going to rip this off very quickly. Here's what they have coming up on their schedule. They open up a series in Pittsburgh tomorrow. Pittsburgh has the best record in the National
They're
League.
16-7. They've won 7 in a row.
First place team, best team. St. Louis after that. St. Louis is not great, but they always play the Dodgers hard. That St. Louis is by far the weakest team that they're going to see.
9-13.
Philadelphia. They just went out and built themselves a nice team. They're the defending National League champion. At San Diego, nothing you need to say about that other than they're going to be really good. Even
Can't score a run if their life depended on it.
At Milwaukee, who's only behind the Pittsburgh Pirates. They're right on their heels. That's a really good team. San Diego again. Minnesota at Dodger Stadium. Minnesota, guess what place they're in? First place team. Back to St. Louis. Atlanta on the road, first place team. Tampa Bay on the road, first place team. In the next month, the next 6 weeks, they're going to play 4 different first place teams and a second place team and the Padres twice and the Phillies. They're 12-11 against mediocre teams. There's not a mediocre team on that list other than St. Louis. At the end of May, you're going to have a really good idea on whether or not this team is pretty good or whether they're not, or whether they need to be retooled, or whether or not you keep that powder dry for Ohtani for the offseason, or whether or not you say, you know what, we're right. What if they go through that stretch, and instead of being 1 game over 500, they come out 6 games over 500?
Sure.
Now you're on to something.
Sure.
And now you do go make that play. You're going to have a lot of information about this team by the time you get to end of the May.
So
that's a monstrous schedule.
It's kind of funny because, and I've told this to you that the Padres have been very underwhelming so far. If there's one thing I guess I give them, they've already played Atlanta 7 times. They've already played the Milwaukee Brewers in a 4-game set.
Mets.
They already played the New York Mets. They've played Arizona, I think, 6 times. So they've at least faced some pretty quality opponents along the way. The Rockies was the only series that it was a team that nobody really thinks much of.
And the Dodgers are almost the exact opposite of that, right? They've played Arizona 8 times, fine. But they have played the Rockies. They played the Giants, who stink. The Cubs are just okay. They've played them twice. And they've played the Mets, who are pretty good. They played one team that you would classify as pretty good. One. The Padres have played 4 teams, 4 different series against good teams. It's going to be very, very different. And, yes, I am going to talk about Mookie playing short. And, yes, I know it was pretty exciting. And, yes, I know he made some nice plays. He
also jumped out of the way of an injury.
He almost got run over in left field, so we can get to that as well. Plus, Lakers tonight against the Grizz. Can they put this thing on ice finally? That's coming up next. It's Travis Lee, 710 ESPN.
Here we go. Travis Rogers, Alan Sliwa. Travis and Sliwa is on for your Monday. We're here each weekday, 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. We begin 9 hours of LA sports talk all day long. Hope you had a beautiful weekend. Let's get it rolling for a new week, and it is a Michelob Ultra Reaction Monday. We're reacting to Saturday night. The Lakers putting one on the Grizzlies early, but then held on. It was getting a little shaky there for a second.
Here is Luke Kennard. Kennard, top of the key. Desmond Bain, stolen. Austin Reeves has got it. Reeves to LeBron, lay it up and in. 42-13 Lakers.
For an old guy, he beat Brooks down the floor pretty easily.
Lakers have a 2-1 series lead. Game 4 tonight at Crypto.com. Coverage begins at 5:30 p.m. right here on 710 ESPN. The Toyota Lakers countdown to tip-off with Slee. Tip-off at 7 p.m.
We give ourselves a good chance to win, but it's all about us controlling the tempo, not turning the ball over, getting back in transition and rebounding. We do those things, we can find our way in the best possible chance to go up 3-1.
Plus, we'll get into everybody's weekend. I think Travis played golf yesterday. Plus, producer Emily, producer Taylor. Let's get it rolling. Travis and Sliwa, a Michelob Ultra Reaction Monday right now.
Yeah. So why did you go bowling, Emily? Just for fun? Just to goof around? What was the
She's in a competitive league.
So my friend...
Yeah, you told me you had everything.
My friend's mom had gotten a gift card that was going to expire, and so it was like a $350 gift card. So we could
Was it one of those fancy bowling alleys?
Yeah, it was Bolero in Culver City,
Oh,
so
yeah.
it was really fun. And it was really fun. It was at one point we had the lane to ourselves, so both sides of the lane because there wasn't anyone next to us. So we had our lane, and then it was empty. So we spread out. We had a good time. We were taking over, and then a large group of one mom and 8 under 10-year-olds.
Birthday party.
Yeah, came into the other side of the lane, and
Done that one.
Yeah, the energy definitely changed from us
for sure.
taking shots, tequila shots with the people next to us, to then there's a bunch of 8-year-olds next to us. It was fun, but it was a good time.
Bowling's always fun. You've never gone bowling. Now, there are degrees as to how much fun you can have with these things. But the reason I asked about the fancy bowling alley, you think, oh, let's go bowling. It's not too bad. You go to one of those nice bowling alley places like she's talking about, and you walk out of there, and you've been bled for hundreds of dollars.
Yeah.
The drinks are expensive.
Yes.
The food's expensive. The time on the lead.
So was it Lucky Strike here? Lucky Strike
Yeah.
that's been here. Yeah, no, you're right. But
it is fun.
That, let's say, in the last I don't know, over 10 years, maybe 15 years ago, that's when that started becoming a trend. It wasn't just a bowling alley where you get a pitcher of beer and a pizza. Right? That's not what it was. All of a sudden it became, oh, no, this is an experience. It's fun. It's this.
The pitcher of beer and the pizza used to be $20.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Right? You could get the whole, you could have a couple of pitchers, couple of pizzas for the whole group. You didn't spend $50 between the whole group of you. Now that's 2 drinks. Yeah, you want the specialized this, that, and the next thing. It's a totally different
we got a fish bowl with one of those things with 6 straws, and we all went in on it. No, it was really yummy. It was really great, but it was $60, so that was fun.
It's not that much different. It's like Top Golf for a driving range.
Yeah,
you had driving range, and now you have Top Golf.
I'm working about 6 different straws in the same drink. That's just.
It's just straw. It's a straw. It's like we're sharing.
Exactly.
It's not that big of a deal. We're not backwashing into it with a straw.
Who knows? The more the
know.
longer you've
I'm
been
putting
there,
a mask.
maybe you
I'm
weren't.
putting a mask on.
You get a glass of water. You want to put 2 straws in it and drink it with me? I'm guessing the answer is you don't.
But we have a group of
chicken in there. A piece of chicken.
It just feels like let's just get our own. I'll get I don't really want to. If I'm on a date in the 50s and we're sharing a chocolate malted, maybe we can have the 2 straws. But otherwise,
there were 6 of us, and about
6 times worse.
but 4 straws. They were sharing. A couple of them were sharing a straw.
When you brush your teeth and you put your hand under there and you kind of just a handful of things. Maybe there's a ladle. You can just put it straight into your mouth.
So there were 6 of us, and only 2 of us were really that competitive. So it was me and my friend Ethan are competitive. And in the first,
Ethan, yes, at Taylor's show.
Yes, you did meet Ethan. And so the 2 of us were going at it at the first game, and it came down to the last frame. We were literally had the same score, and then he bowled a strike, and then he got an 8 or something the next one. But it was just I failed, and
Did you choke?
I guttered it, and it was bad. Yeah.
There is something deeply deflating about a gutter ball.
Yeah.
It's like you're like, oh yeah, I get 0.
Everybody's watching.
If you even just get 1 off the corner, you're like, at least I got 1.
One at a time. That's what I would always say. 1 at a time.
Knock them down one after the next. All right, a couple of quick tweets here. We're talking about the Dodgers and Ohtani and when the Angels make a deal, if the Angels make a deal. A couple of things got brought up. Number one, do the Angels even risk making a trade with the Dodgers? Because if that goes badly for them, not only does it look bad, but it looks bad right in your own backyard. I want to start with this. This is from Eddie Carrillo. Eddie writes, Trav, your return for an Ohtani trade's way off. The Angels could have gotten that last year or the year before that. They're going to get peanuts for Ohtani because he'll be a rental. Another example of how the Angels just can't do anything right. I agree with half of that, Eddie. I agree they should have done it last year. Last year was the point where you really could have squeezed somebody, just like the Padres got squeezed for Soto.
Yeah.
They got the guy they wanted, but they paid an absolute premium to do it. Ohtani is one of one. There's going to be a lot of people, if in fact the Angels fall out and he's on the block the way that we expect that to happen, there's going to be, because of what we talked about, just get him in the building, sell him on what we do. Maybe we win. Maybe he loves it here. Maybe he loves the manager, his teammates. You're willing to take that chance. The Angels are not going to give him away for peanuts, like he's saying. There's going to be more than one suitor, and the price maybe not as good as it would have been a year ago, but it's going to be a big price.
Well, I think the question is going to come down to, are the Dodgers going to have some type of inside information that Ohtani's the Dodgers, you're basically competing with one or two other teams, and then will somebody say, well, we're going to overpay for him because he's a rental, and we're going to try to make a World Series run, but there's also a strong likelihood that Ohtani will probably not re-sign with your team, right? And I let's just say a team came out of nowhere.
The Padres.
Well, I
don't even have any assets.
But I was going to do this. Why don't we go? Let's go with. This is a bad example. Let's go with the Pittsburgh Pirates decide, you know what, we're playing good baseball right now. We got a chance. We got something exciting. Let's take a risk on Ohtani. Nobody's thinking Ohtani is going to stay with the Pittsburgh Pirates, and they give up a ton of assets, and they go for some type of a World Series run. I just use that as an example. That could happen. The question is going to come down to, is a Dodgers team willing, some of the names that you just pointed out, the names that you talked about, do you end up giving up so much that the depth that you think you have or the pitching that you have, let's use Dustin May and Julio as an example. Okay, those are two, one of them is an ace, and the other one is somebody that everyone keeps talking about his stuff, that once he gets it together, he's going to be one of those players. Do you end up giving up so much that you become thin? And if I'm Ohtani too, isn't Ohtani looking to not deplete a team where he's going to go get him? Ohtani's looking more for, I want a team that's already got all the pieces, and I'm coming in as one of those pieces.
He can make that decision in free agency.
He
can't make that decision
in
trade.
But that's kind of my point. My point is that if he gets traded somewhere, does Ohtani want to go to the Dodgers in the middle of the season, and then you lose a lot of these assets in the process?
The Pirates picture, I think, is one thing. I think a more realistic sort of situation like you're talking about, where maybe we don't have a great chance of keeping him, but we have a chance to win right away. We have a chance to do something special, and we at least have a puncher's chance.
Yeah.
Would be somebody like Atlanta, right? There's no buzz around Atlanta that might be where he wants to go. Atlanta has an incredibly deep farm system of players that would be attractive to just about anybody else. They're like the Dodgers. They're really good at drafting, identifying, and developing. So maybe Ohtani's like, I don't want to live in Atlanta. This is not the spot for me. But they're really good. They could win the World Series, and maybe he figures out, you know what? This is a great spot for me. This is a team that, maybe they're not as deep as they used to be, but they're still really young with what they have. You pair them with Acuna, you pair them with Murphy, you pair them with Olsen. You got some guys, Riley, right? That's a really good young team that's going to be good for a long time.
And has shown a couple years in a row that
they know what they're doing.
Legit.
Right? They're not unlike the Dodgers, where we say, listen, we can't guarantee anything, but we do know what we're doing. This is an organization that puts good players on the field year after year after year. Here's another one. Anthony Rincon. How about Urias and Lux for Ohtani? That's probably what it would look like, plus prospects as well. This is what you're getting. You're getting somebody. Look, I love Julio Urias. I love him. I hope he stays here for his entire career. Ohtani's a lot better than he is. He's a lot better than everybody.
Mm-hmm.
Ohtani might not play shortstop. He's a lot better offensive player than Gavin Lux is. You got a better player there, too. That's why you're going to get this crazy haul coming back the other way, because it's not, while it is one guy, you're not getting one thing. You're getting the two most important things, home runs and starting pitching. It's going to be a fortune to get
the Julio thing is interesting because you got to figure whoever does trade, and let's say they traded for Julio, okay, you're also
cashing him out
Yep.
to make sure that he's your ace moving forward. And maybe that's the only way that you get him is you're pointing out the dollars. But it's fascinating because you're not looking at this year, if you're the Dodgers, you're not just paying attention to what they're doing night in, night out. You are kind of got an eye on the Angels and saying, well, what's happening there? Could this be something where Ohtani is available in a couple of months? That's a fascinating storyline.
These are the sorts of players you're going to get. You're going to get another very good player, Julio, coming back. And Julio's not a great example because he's up at the end of the year. Gavin Lux isn't a great example because he's currently dealing with a season-ending injury. But we're talking about players like there's no miss. Can Gavin Lux play Major League Baseball? Of course he can.
Yeah.
That he's a major league player. Same thing with Julio. You're going to get one or two of those plus a bunch of prospects along the way. How much of what the Lakers look like, what LeBron looked like, had to do with Dylan Brooks? Because Dylan Brooks get kicked out, he smacks LeBron, and it was a cheap shot. It was. I don't think there's any argument that it was a basketball play. It wasn't. He did it on purpose. That's what he
said
does.
it was.
Yeah, exactly.
Basketball play.
And I'm not here for his. Well, they're making me out to be the villain. No,
Yeah.
you've made yourself out to be the villain, and you get what you get, right? Do you think that the Lakers had that juice, that thing? Because I kind of brushed it aside on Friday afternoon. I didn't think LeBron was going to get caught. I still don't think he did, but the rest of the Lakers looked like they had a little pep.
So I think this could happen, right? I don't think that's a stretch to say that LeBron, if anybody thought LeBron was going to go out there and try to put 45 against Dylan Brooks, maybe you're just not paying attention to LeBron James. Now, if it was somebody else who said it, maybe if Ja Morant had some stuff to say, maybe it's a little bit different. The fact that it's Dylan Brooks specifically, I don't think holds that much weight.
It's easier to dismiss.
However, I do think there's a little bit from the team perspective saying, who's this dude going at our best player? Our guy, right? I think that does have a little bit of motivation. I will say that on Dylan Brooks, man, I don't understand his game plan. I don't. I think he's hurting the Memphis Grizzlies. He's hurting. He's hurting them on the floor, shooting 3 of 13 and being nothing on offense.
Right.
He's hurting them because he is running his mouth, and maybe that is motivating to a couple of the other guys, and now all of a sudden they are specifically trying to make sure we got a little bit extra juice to play for, put the LeBron side to the fact. And he's hurting them because, like you said, on Saturday, what are you doing? You have the entire second half left. You're getting a flagrant 2. They're getting 2 free throws. I don't know what he's doing, but you can't tell me if you're the Memphis Grizzlies that you're sitting there after the game and you're walking by Dylan Brooks in the locker rooms and you're saying to yourself, hey, man, I see what you were doing there. I see what you're doing this series. I really like what you're thinking up here. He looks like a complete idiot. I mean, he really does. I was saying in the postgame show, I'm like, Laker fans, stop booing him. Cheer him at the game. He's been one of the best assets the Lakers have had this series.
Well, there's different types of ad. I can't talk today, Slee. There's something going on. Did you put a Mickey in my coffee or something? I can't get my words out. There's the agitators like Dylan Brooks and Patrick Beverley who don't really impact the game very often. Occasionally they'll have a big day, but they're far more noisy than they are impactful.
It's the dog barking and
But then there's impactful like Draymond Green and Dennis Rodman. They're wild cards too. They'll stomp a guy, they'll punch a guy, they'll pick a fight, they'll do something. But Dennis Rodman and Draymond Green, they really impact what happens on the basketball court. You want to be Draymond and Rodman. You don't want to be Dylan Brooks, who's the yappy dog who doesn't do anything. Draymond and Rodman will talk. They'll get you on tilt.
And they're also going to help your team win.
And they're going to go out, and Dennis will get 25 rebounds, and Draymond will do what he did yesterday. Like, there's a huge difference between those guys. Dylan Brooks is the worst version of the chippy player.
Just a quick reminder here, it's a Michelob Ultra Reaction Monday on 710 ESPN, reacting to the Lakers' statement win on Saturday night. Behind AD's 31, LeBron's 25, Dylan Brooks getting thrown out, plus getting you pumped up for Game 4 tonight. Presented by Michelob Ultra, a refreshing and balanced flavor with only 2.6 carbs and 95 calories. Michelob Ultra, it's only worth it if you enjoy it. Please enjoy responsibly. I genuinely don't understand that game plan. He's only hurt them. That's it. That's all he's done is hurt the Memphis Grizzlies.
Lakers
I'm going to get his jersey tonight. Are they selling them?
Do that. Put
Are they selling them at the game?
And have your Memphis Grizzlies Dylan Brooks jersey. It'll look good. All right, Lakers have had 4 non-regular season games. What do we call the playing game? It's not a playoff game, but They've had 4 games since the end of the regular season.
What are we going to call the play-in tournament?
Too
what
good.
Are those going to?
Not uninteresting. Can we call it that? Stupid. We can call it that too. 4 games, too good, too bad. What do we get tonight? That's next. It's Travis Lee, 710 ESPN.
That's Sliwa's pet. Rookie the dog. Well, you can at ESPN Los Angeles. You can see Slee. You can see Rookie the dog hanging out in their new Subaru from Sierra Subaru of Monrovia. Go check out the picture. Give it a like. Rookie the dog should have his own Instagram account too, by the way, Slee. Let's get that rolling. Right now, more of Travis and Sliwa, your Monday.
What would you call Rookie's Instagram? Rookie? It's got to be taken.
Rookie underscore.
Sliwa.
The dog. Rookie underscore the dog.
The dog.
The Rookster.
The Rookster's pretty good.
The Rookster is good.
That's not a bad way to do it.
That is good.
You should, Emily, see if that's available, and you can start Slee's social media.
And
account
also, all the captions just need to say woof, 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 woof.
Okay.
That's all he can say.
I think she started something when we first got him, and then she just never did anything with it.
Oh,
so there could,
Lady Slee?
Yeah, there could be something, but I wouldn't even know what it
My
is.
roommate has one for her cat called it's
the
like
cat
the cat's
underscore.
name. Yeah.
What's
cat.
on it?
It's just pictures of the cat and also like from the cat's perspective and like writes as if the cat can speak English. And it's like, I had a fun day in the window today. Watched a lot of cars go by, and I'm like, okay, this is really fun.
It's all right.
That's
The
sarcastic
look
of
on
me.
your
I don't care.
was awesome.
What do you mean?
You were so disgusted.
Well, I told you what happened when I went
What's
to the game.
on it?
And pets can be famous.
I know they can. I know they can. When I went to the San Diego State game with Kel, right, during Dad's weekend, and the guy in front of me had this dog and a baby Bjorn. I think I sent you a picture, right?
Yeah.
This guy could not tell everyone within a 10-person radius of where we were, hey, I forget the dog's name. Fido's got an Instagram, and every person in that arena looked at him the way I just looked at you. Like,
that was amazing.
Why would I ever want that? Like, why would I?
Totally following it.
I don't know you, right? So why do I care about that? And B, why do I care about your dog?
Okay, so
that you bring in a baby Bjorn to college basketball games.
There are, and he's not the one, but there are people where their entire business is on their pet, and they put out content all the time of their pet. They're literally putting out YouTube videos, Instagram, everything else. And then you got big-time sponsors that are also a part of it. They've turned it into a business.
And Puree.
And that is a 0.0001% of those who own animals.
Yeah, my sorority sister, she has a Pomeranian in New York City, and her Pomeranian's Instagram has 200,000 followers.
That's why you should get 3 cats.
See Charles say that cats aren't pets yesterday on TNT.
Did he say that?
Charles, like usual, Charles seems to understand how the world works. Little Dodger news very quickly before we go back to the Lakers. The Dodgers are calling up who a lot of people think is their best prospect on the board, Michael Busch. Max Muncy is going on to the paternity list, according to sources. So Max is just like Mookie, expecting a child, so he's going to miss a little bit of time. And Michael Busch is going to get a chance to step in his shoes. And look, family first, I get that. You guys know how important my family is to me, so I completely understand all of this. But, man, you really don't want to take days off when you're swinging a bat like Max Muncy. That thing is a damn beach ball coming in there. I get it. I was there for all 3 of my kids' births. I missed work, too. I get it. It's not a judgment, but can you wait till he's in a slump to have that baby? Can we just, when he's like on an 0 for 16, can maybe we have that baby as opposed to he's hit 10 home runs in a week?
Maybe when Muncy comes back, he wants to catch. Wants to be a catcher for a little bit.
Why
Try
not?
something a little bit different. I will say,
We're just going to pretend that Max Muncy Mookie didn't almost get killed on that ball in shallow left field. We're just going to pretend we didn't see it.
I thought of our conversation last week and how much you keep the warning of, guys, just understand by putting him there, the risk of anything happening, especially where it's not like he's played in that position. The first major league start he's had at shortstop. So there's certain small
He's been in the big
little
leagues for 10 years. He hasn't played short in 10 years.
There's little nuances of the game. It could be as simple as a bloop that the outfielder's coming in, he's going back, just a little miscommunication. Third base is coming that way.
I can hear the baseball people right now. Well, he could have been – that same play happens between right field, first base, and second base all the time. And you're right. It does. The difference is Mookie is in charge of that situation. He has the whole thing coming at him. He's done it every day for the last 10 years. He knows how to make that play. He knows how to get down. He knows how to avoid contact. And I understand. Anything can happen at any point. You could tell he had no idea how to execute that play. And not because he's not a great athlete. He is. He's made a couple of plays in short that were just awesome. Just really high-level athletic plays that are really fun to watch. And it is fun because he can do it. But that inexperience, that here comes Peralta, here comes Muncy, here comes Mookie going out, those 3 guys come together, and the guy that you're most worried about is Mookie.
Sure.
Let's put him back in the outfield. I'm sorry. I just don't like it. I know he's hot with the bat. He hit a home run. He up the middle, wrong-legged throw. It's just the most big league athlete thing you've ever seen. Never mind, he hasn't done it in 10 years. And I'm just like, I get it. That was cool. Please stop it. Please don't do that anymore.
I will say the one thing on the Michael Busch, bringing him up, part of what I thought was making this season exciting about the Dodgers is the unknowns. We did not know how this team was going to look, and we still don't really know how this team's going to look. But you were going to bring up Outman. What's he going to look like? You were going to bring up, Vargas was going to get a lot more opportunities. What's he going to look like? This kind of falls along the line of just the curiosity. Every night it feels like there's a little curiosity with this Dodgers team. They hadn't won. Am I right on this? They hadn't won 2 games in a row since the beginning of the month.
Yeah.
You literally don't know what you're going to get every single night from the Dodgers. You don't. And this is just another player. It's like, oh, let's see what he can do. And that sometimes, I know that doesn't line up with the Dodgers, but there is some curiosity to every one of these games.
They're a normal team. They're not bad. but they're not what they've been for a long time, which is just a lot better than everybody that they play every night. They're not anymore. They're better than some. They're not as good as others. They have good days. They have bad days. They're playing guys out of position to try to cover because they don't have production other places. Peralta and Hayward and Trace are all kind of cold right now, so you're trying to find a way to get more offense in the lineup. There's a lot going on there, and just when it happens with Mookie, you probably are not going to want to listen to me the next day because I will not be in a great spot. Do they put it on ice tonight, Slee? Do they put that 3-1 lead? Do they go back to Memphis with a chance to close it out there, or are we in for a fight the way that you're in with Golden State and Sacramento? It feels like it's going 7 games. The Lakers have played 4 games. 2 of them, they've looked really good, including Saturday night. 2 of them, they've looked really bad. Yeah. So I'm optimistic that they'll look good, but the clunker is still pretty fresh in my memory. I don't know what we're going to get tonight.
I'm not just as optimistic because they've shown us enough in situations like this. They don't necessarily take advantage of the situation. They don't take advantage of that opportunity. The only thing that I will mention is, at least for this game tonight, whatever happened Saturday, that's not happening tonight. It's just not. I think we got a true, real dogfight. You might get the best shot you're going to get from the Memphis Grizzlies tonight because they know going down 3-1 what that means ultimately in the big scheme of things. I thought Game 3 was kind of set up for the Lakers. You're coming off a loss. The question marks around Ja Morant. You're going to get Memphis's best shot, I believe, tonight so far in the series. They'll do everything they can. They'll muddy the water. They're going to do everything to try to make the series 2-2. I think Lakers win the game, but I think it's a really close game. And by the way, I don't care how you win. It doesn't matter tonight how you win. You don't need to go out and make a statement. Your statement is you go up 3-1. That would be the statement that you make.
I want to come back to the Lakers in just one sec, but this just came out right now. Sacramento Kings star De'Aaron Fox has suffered a fractured index finger in his left shooting hand, sources tell The Athletic.
Wow.
Fox is expected to be listed as doubtful to play in Game 5 versus the Warriors. Fox has been terrific through the first 4 games.
He's coming out party.
He's been terrific all season long, right? He's been their best player and has looked like it and has looked comfortable. He was jawing back and forth with guys. He's enjoying this moment. This really sucks because without him, and Taylor, feel free to jump in here, it just feels like this is that bad break, bad news, worst possible timing with a series that really, it's the only one that's left that feels like I don't know who's going to win it. I don't know who's going to win that series. Now with this, it feels like you got a pretty good idea.
He's averaging 32 points a game in this series so far. 32, 6, and 7 so far. He's everything to them, and if hypothetically he's not able to go or he's questionable, you just can't. This is how sports works. You can't lose Kawhi Leonard and expect to have a series against the Phoenix Suns. You can't. You can't lose if Ja Morant was out for an extended period of time. They're not going to win the series. This one, I agree with you, is the toughest to swallow because this is the one that you're saying, this got 7 written all over it. This is the defending champs against a team that hasn't made the playoffs since 2006, and he has by far been their best player.
He had 38, 9, and 5 yesterday in a losing effort, but he's been terrific. This stinks. Giannis is down, Embiid is down, Fox potentially.
Did we know this at all?
Down. Ja's down, Kawhi is down. Think about all these big-time – think about it. Kawhi, Paul George, Giannis, Embiid, Ja, and maybe De'Aaron Fox. And Draymond's been down, but not because of injury, but because of suspension. That's a lot of headline talent.
Star power.
That
Taylor's
stinks.
shaking his head there.
Taylor, take me through it.
That's rough.
Talk to us,
man.
Taylor.
Damn it, Harrison Barnes. That feels a lot. No words for this. This is sad.
Maybe that's why he's not taking that final shot. Maybe he had that injury.
Well,
was just
Al,
playing
hold
through
on a
it.
second. He was double-teamed. They wasn't like he was wide open and kicked it to another guy.
Well, Barnes bothered me, too, because he was also in the way. Get the hell out of the way, Harrison.
Look, Steve Kerr's a really good coach. I guarantee you before that's like anybody but him. Okay? We're going to live with anybody but him. That at the end of the game, they did their execution. They did their decision-making exactly how it's supposed to go. I get it that you want your best guy, but he was smothered and Barnes was wide open.
I'm used to Kobe taking shots over 3 guys.
Right, which is not a great idea. For him, maybe, but not for most people along the way. All right,
but there's still hope he will try and play Game 5. This is from Woj just now.
Who knows?
Ja
Ja played with a messed up hand and did pretty well, actually. So
I want to
it's
talk
possible.
about Jaw's hand. I want to talk about what Jaw did at the end of Game 3 and whether that has any influence on what happens at the beginning of Game 4. That's coming up next. It's Trav and Slee, 710.
Sliwa on 710 ESPN.
All right, if you're just jumping into your car right now, just turned on the app. NBA news, De'Aaron Fox has a fractured tip of the left index finger. Fox is left-handed. Still no definitive declaration on whether he's going to play or not in Game 5. But, point guard with his dominant hand with a fractured finger.
Come on.
Just awful. The Kings... This is nothing but just bad luck. The Kings have been so healthy. They've played every night. They haven't load managed. They've had the same guys. They go through it, and just at the worst possible time, their most important guy gets an injury. And we were talking a little, Al, like, do you take the needle, right? Do you shoot it up? Do you try to deal with the pain? Yeah, but it's not like you need to have some fine motor skills in your hands if you're a basketball player to shoot, to dribble, to do all these things. It's not like you're an offensive lineman where you're just trying to smash the guy in front of you. You got to have some feel. Just a terrible break for the Kings.
So their next game's coming up on Wednesday. You get a couple days off. See what you could do from there. It's one of the few games that they actually have two days off in between. Listen, he's been actually – sometimes it's cool when you're watching some of these postseason games, and it doesn't matter what playoffs it is. Nobody really had too much faith in the Sacramento Kings because you don't know what you're going to expect. Hey, this isn't the regular season. Yeah, I get it. Light the beam against – a team that it doesn't really matter. You had that much comfortable yes, against the Lakers. You've had that much of a lead against some of these teams in the regular season. And De'Aaron Fox has been one of the players. It's not that, hey, he's stumbling through the playoffs. It's the first time he's ever played a playoff series. He looks as good as any other player in the entire postseason. So that's the part, too, where you're getting an opportunity to see something different. I know what Steph's going to do in the playoffs. I know what Bron's going to do in the playoffs. I know what KD's going to do. I didn't know what De'Aaron Fox was going to do.
Okay, you can't see it. It's directly behind you. They have Kendrick Perkins on ESPN right now, and he just put his big hand up in front of the camera, and the ring finger on his right hand is bent at a very, very not normal angle, right? And he starts moving like he can do it. And I don't know what he's saying, so all I'm seeing is that he's showing, like, look, this is what happened to my finger. Perk, you are not shooting threes and handling the ball the whole game.
No.
He could play with a cast on his hand and go do what he needed to do, right? Go be the biggest guy out there, smash into some guys, be physical, rebound. A point guard with a broken finger on his dominant hand and not just a finger, it's his index finger. It's a big deal.
That's why the Ja Morant stuff.
Yeah.
Right? When that was coming out and he misses game 2, Ja Morant is dribbling the ball up the floor. Ja Morant is shooting shots. Ja Morant's throwing up floaters. Everything he's doing, I think it's funny about the Perk that you're talking about, right? Perk was not Hakeem Olajuwon, and I need the ball. I'm going to face up the basket. I'm going to shoot a 17-footer. Okay, not even that. Well, your big man's not bringing the ball up the floor. De'Aaron Fox is, what is the one thing we keep talking about? Just running up and down the floor.
Yeah.
Run up and down the floor. The effect that has on a point guard, especially him.
It's the difference between saying your quarterback has a broken thumb or your left tackle has a broken thumb. The left tackle can get through it.
He'll be okay.
The quarterback cannot. If you can't grip the ball, matters if you're the quarterback, less so if you're the left.
And it's his throwing hand.
Perk's the left tackle, right? I'm just throwing that out there. All right, which does mean, look, Lakers got one tonight, and we'll talk about Ja in a second. Lakers feel like they have an opportunity to kind of put this thing on the precipice, right? It feels like they should be looking for a closeout tonight if they take care of game 2, but that's for another time. Steph now has a huge advantage in Golden State, right? Steph and LeBron in round 2, we're just a couple of wins away from getting what feels like a finals matchup in the second round of the Western Conference. I know that Taylor and Kings fans and basketball fans are crushed by the De'Aaron Fox news, but the NBA is probably less so, that they're a couple of wins away from LeBron James and Steph Curry in round 2.
Yeah, listen, neither series is over, but you can't – it's impossible. We always jump ahead to look at what the next round's going to be like, right? I remember before the Eastern Conference started, I was already – that's going to be Boston and Philly in round 2. Oh, that'd be an interesting round 2 matchup.
Sure.
Okay, even right now, is it going to be Bucks and New York? Here's the problem. The problem is – you got so many injuries on that side. Can you imagine the Lakers and the Golden State Warriors with an opportunity to go to the Western Conference Finals, and you cannot ask for more? By the way, you can't even ask for more because it's also just in round 2. That you still get a round 3 that could include KD and the Golden State Warriors or KD and LeBron James in the Western Conference Finals. I heard somebody saying about it. I thought it was kind of funny that I think it was after the Kings jumped out 2-0, right? Kings jumped out 2-0. That, hey, the Kings are getting all the calls this. I forgot who it was, but somebody was saying, yeah, exactly. The NBA wants the Sacramento Kings to go up against the Lakers in the next round, not Steph Curry and the Golden State Warriors.
This is not super insightful, but it's a good reminder. To win a championship, to win a playoff series, you got to be so lucky.
Everything's got to go your way.
You got to be really, really good.
Yep.
And then you got to be kind of lucky. You got to stay healthy. That shot for Harrison Barnes needs to miss and not go in. You need to catch a call at the right time. That you need to play an opponent that maybe is missing their best guy.
100%.
That you just
100%.
You need to catch a couple of. It's very rare when you just go in and like, I'm lots better than you, and I'm just going to hammer you 4 times in 5 or 6 nights and move on to the next round. That almost never happens.
Well, what's funny is usually if it does happen, the NBA is the closest thing to where that can happen to. Where the NFL, you play one game. I don't care if it's in Kansas City, Cincinnati, Buffalo. It doesn't matter where it is. One game you could lose. Obviously in baseball, we know that any team –
super fun season.
That one, I was kind of waiting there.
Couldn't find it.
But that's a great example. Basketball is the one where more times than not, the better team can win.
Usually does.
But you also need stuff to go your way in the process.
Wild cards. All right, so Ja tonight, Let's go back to yesterday. Ja yesterday, or Saturday night, scored 22 points in a row.
Yeah.
Which, who is it, LeBron and Kobe are the only other two people to do that in a postseason game, that many consecutive points for your team. The game was long since decided, 35-9 in the opening period, or quarter. I've been watching too much hockey, Slee, period. Does it matter that he went off like that? Did he find something? Did he discover something? Or is this just I don't care how many in a row you make. We're winning. We're up 2-1. We're going to save our energy. We're going to do all the things we need to do. There was never a single moment where the Lakers weren't going to win that game, despite what Ja was doing. Or is that kind of like, okay, I got something going now, and you got to deal with that from the jump tonight?
It's kind of funny because I don't think the recipe for the Memphis Grizzlies to beat the Lakers is Ja dropping 45. I don't think that's the case. I think they had 4 guys that contributed. That Ja got his 30, but Desmond Bane got 25, and Jaren Jackson Jr. got 22, and Dylan Brooks did whatever he did. I don't think the recipe is go get 45 and you're going to go beat the Lakers for Ja Morant. I think it's got to be kind of a team type of effort. They had 6 guys in double figures when they won on Tuesday. I think you need something like that. However, Ja didn't look like his hand was hurting him anymore. Or if it is, it certainly didn't affect him on the basketball floor. He still got 13 assists, so it's not like he wasn't dishing the ball as well. The only thing I could take away, and you tell me if you think there's something here or not, could Memphis have sold themselves that, guys, we're never going to play a worse quarter in our lives after that first quarter. However, the rest of the way, we were the better basketball team, quote unquote. And I'm not saying that it matters because you can't just not count the first quarter.
Right.
But I think Memphis could walk away and say to themselves, okay, hey, we took a tough punch. We were awful. Game 4, we start 0-0. Let's take our chances.
Well, I think that's not a hard thing to talk yourself into. Look, we played a terrible game and they beat us and we lost. We've played these guys 3 times. They're not any better than we are. You could tell yourself that and believe it because you had a bad quarter that it was the worst quarter that anybody's played all season long, literally, with 9 points. It's going to happen occasionally. You're just going to have a terrible night at a bad time, and that's what happened to us. But we did beat him without Ja. Ja not only is back, and this is the one thing that does give me a little bit of pause.
Okay.
I don't like it when great players, and Ja get on a heater like that because they usually last for a while, right? When a guy starts doing things like he does, that's not where the next night they come back and they go 6 for 27, right? When they get going, they get going. If Steph Curry gets hot, he stays hot. If Klay gets hot, they usually stay hot. LeBron, when those guys are at the peak of their powers like Ja is right now, the last thing I need is him feeling really good when he walks out onto that court tonight like, man, I just dropped 22 in a row. I know we had to play a game and we got to win the night, but I felt good. I got some rhythm. I feel good. I know what I need to do now. I know how to break this guy down. I know how to break that guy down. If you're the Lakers, we weren't even trying. And I think there's probably something to that.
Yeah.
But it's not nothing that he went absolutely nuclear at the end of that game.
This is the only thing I'll say about the Lakers, and I really do think this is the difference of a championship team and a team that's just kind of figuring it out, okay? The Lakers, I think championship teams win Game 2 on the road when their best player is not playing in Ja Morant. I think championship teams win tonight comfortably and just kind of say, guys, it's cute what you guys are doing, but we're healthier, we're better, we're at home, we're taking a 3-1 series lead. The Lakers have kind of yet to show that. That's not something that during the regular season they showed a lot of, and certainly so far in the playoffs, it's their second opportunity to say, we got a little bit of an advantage here. It's here at home. We're going to go up 3-1.
I think that's exactly what it is. So we just talked about a second ago. Max Muncy is going to miss a little time because he's going on the paternity list.
Yep.
As is Brewstar Gratterall. He also is going on to the paternity list.
And Mookie
just came off of.
Yeah.
I think I know how these guys spent their All-Star game.
Yes.
Their All-Star break. Because that's about 9 months ago from where we are right now, literally. So, hey, honey, I'm off the road. Good to see you again. Can we, I don't know.
Should put a clause in their contract.
3 guys? And it tracks exactly back to the All-Star game, the All-Star break, which was here in L.A., which means they didn't have to spend a lot of time traveling from one point to the other. They got reacquainted. You got 3 new Dodger babies.
Excited. They were happy. They were all playing. The Dodgers were doing really well at the All-Star break. They had a lot of All-Stars. It was
in
here.
a good mood.
It was here in L.A. I mean, that makes sense.
I don't have to go to the ballpark tonight. What do you want to? I don't know. Maybe have a little wine. Go see a movie. What are you up to?
Can you see the front office of the Dodgers saying, we did not prepare for this? Of everything they're able to prepare for, this was not something they expected.
That it's 3 guys and it tracks back to the All-Star break is pretty hilarious. Good for you guys. Maybe a little 8th grade health class all over again, just in case it was, we weren't trying to do these things. I don't know. Congratulations to Mookie. Congratulations to Max, Muncy, and Brewstar Gratterall. Mookie's back from the paternity list. The other 2 guys are going down. The Dump is coming up next. It's Travis Lee, 710 ESPN.
Time for everything we haven't gotten to today. Yes, it's time for the dump.
All right, little college football news for you right here. The SEC is preparing to, quote, up the ante on field storming penalties. That according to Pat Forty. The SEC, after a big win, they storm the field, right?
Okay.
Because the number 1 team in the country is seemingly always in there, and you beat those guys. You beat Alabama or Georgia.
Yeah.
People are coming over the railing. I understand that it's
according to my rules, I'm still storming if Georgia wins.
You get a win against Utah State in December, you're going onto the court at San Diego State. I know that your threshold is different than a lot, but put your sensibilities aside.
I'm storming, damn it.
It's kind of a weird situation, right? It's awesome to have that big win. It's incredibly exciting. It's something you're going to remember for a long time if you're one of the students doing that. It's also pretty scary to see
unsafe.
hundreds, if not thousands of people come crawling over that railing and just basic stampede. How do you stop them from doing it?
It's a good question. I will tell you this. The one thing that I do not like when I'm watching anytime anybody's rushing the field or rushing, bro, sometimes you got nobody's single file saying, yep, you go, I go. They're jumping 6-8 foot walls, whatever it is, just to get over. And me. So all them and then me. That's the one part that's uncomfortable because you know that, hey, anything wrong can happen. But to what you just said, okay, you're stopping 10,000 people from coming in. You're not.
Yeah.
You're not going to have 9 security guards saying, I'm going to watch this section. Cool. Go get the one guy that you got, and then there's 33 others coming. I don't know how you're going to stop it.
You need a massive police presence, right? The only way you could prevent it is if you just had almost
just
like
call out the National
Guard ringing the field, right?
Yes.
Because think about it. You're right. It's thousands of people. They're, to Emily's point, they're drunk, they're crazy, they're not thinking about, if you're like, well, they're going to give us a 15-yard unsportsmanlike penalty the next time we do it, or the athletic department's going to get dinged $100,000 for penalties. They don't care.
No.
They're coming over the hedge. They're coming to do it. And now all of a sudden you got a situation where you got drunk college students who want to get on the field being stopped by police officers. That could go badly too.
Yeah, and carrying away the goalpost at the end of the game too. So I think the main thing you can do is you could make bigger walls. You can but obviously that's expensive and a thing that you don't necessarily want to do. You could
put up to build a wall.
You could put up.
Jeez, man.
You could put up what they have in baseball stadiums, which is like the netting, which is also not a great idea. And then,
but it's not all the way around. If they want on, they're getting on.
Yeah, I think there's really no way to prevent it. But Auburn has these hedges around it that are thorny, and for me that would be a deterrent. But
go have 13 Keystone Lights and see if that hedge stops you from running.
It does nothing.
It does absolutely. You're excited. Look at this one. It's not going to change a thing.
Bring a weed whacker. I'm bringing gloves with me. I'm pulling those out.
This was an amazing video. If you haven't had a chance to see it, go look for it online. It's great. Pittsburgh, the Pirates, who shockingly have the best record in the National League right now. I can't talk today. I just said meow instead of now.
Meow, I think is right. I think you used it in the right form.
Drew Maggi, 13 years in the minor leagues. They called up to the big league roster to make his first appearance in the major leagues. He played 1,155 games in the minors, batted nearly 4,500 times in the minors. He did not get in the game yet, but they showed the video of his manager telling him in front of his teammates that he was going up to the big. Again, this is not a kid. This is a grown adult, 33 years old, and the emotion that came out of him was just fantastic. If that doesn't make you get in the feels, I don't know what to tell you.
We get so locked sometimes, and we get stuck with stories of just look how this player is doing. Look how that player is doing. This guy's delivering. That player isn't delivering. You know, baseball is probably the best to where you can have a story like this where somebody just wasn't good enough to play in the majors, but damn, did they flirted for a while, and then they just got accustomed to this is where I'm going to be. I'm not going to go anywhere. That's an amazing story. Those stories are as good as any other success story of somebody succeeding in Major League Baseball. It's just as good seeing somebody that this story.
It was Andre Ingram? Was that the
Andre Ingram. Yep.
It's the same thing, right? That you finally got a chance to come up, and whether Drew Maggi hits a home run or strikes, it almost doesn't matter. He got to go put on a big league uniform. It's just good for him.
This and when college kids on a basketball team or a football team get the scholarship thing, those are two great videos I always like to see of when people finally get something they've been working so hard for.
That's a great one. Couldn't agree more. Good for you, Drew Maggi. I hope he goes 4 for 4 and hits a couple of doubles and has a memory to tell for the rest of his life.
But not against the Dodgers.
Not against the Dodgers, right. Wait till the Dodgers leave town. They're running out of guys. They're all at the labor and delivery center.
Paternity leave.
I wonder if they get a rate at the hospital somewhere. Hey, if we all deliver our babies here, can we get 30% off?
Buy 2 get 1 free.
It seems like it. Gratterall, Muncy, and Mookie all on paternity leave. Mookie is finally back. Allen Robinson, former Rams wide receiver Allen Robinson, current Pittsburgh Steeler wide receiver Allen Robinson, said if you're a fork, you don't want to be used as a spoon the majority of the time, talking about his time with the Rams, which it's fairly benign. But what he's basically saying is they did not use me right.
They didn't use me properly. That's why I wasn't successful.
I have a hard time with that. I think Sean McVay knows how to use people. I think Sean McVay knows how to get guys going. that Allen Robinson didn't succeed here. I'm not saying it's exclusively Allen Robinson's fault, but that does not feel like Sean McVay couldn't figure me out kind of solution.
Well, I will say that might be an interesting storyline to kind of watch throughout the year, because if Allen Robinson is doing nothing for Pittsburgh or just isn't that, significant of a player for them, then you could look at it and say, okay, maybe Allen Robinson had a point. Maybe just this specific player, it didn't work out within the Rams system. But if he's not balling out, then I think it's going to fall more along the lines of McVay's had success with all these different players, especially on offense.
And it was incumbent on him to make it work, and it just never happened. It still doesn't make any sense to me. Here's another one. This does make sense to me. There was a video. University of Colorado had their spring football game this weekend.
Yeah.
The football stadium at Colorado was packed. There was not an empty seat to be found in this entire thing. And they had kind of a year ago, and there couldn't have been 2,500 people in a giant football stadium.
On the same video, they got 2022
from
showing
one
the
to the next,
2023.
and it's packed. And for no other reason than Deion Sanders is the coach. You get the right guy. You're seeing it at SC. You're seeing it at Colorado. I'm not like a Deion diehard fan. I like Deion.
Yeah.
But that he's brought that amount of buzz to the worst, not the worst team in the Pac-12, the worst team in the country, arguably, in one season without playing a game, awesome.
You know who they open up with?
Is it SC?
TCU.
Hello.
Yeah, that thing could come
be
crashing
a
down in a
quickly.
hurry.
Did you see that video, John?
Yeah.
It's unbelievable.
Yeah,
Nothing
good for him.
to full house.
And it took too long for other schools to realize they should have hired Deion.
I was just
going to
say, how about that? That to me is what's most interesting is if you know a player or you know a coach, a former player, can have that much impact on the school like that. Aren't you surprised that there weren't other big-time schools?
Okay.
And you don't even have to be a big-time program, just a school with more recognition that says, take our chances with this guy.
There aren't a lot of Deons out there, right? There are other guys that are great
Makes
football
it even
coach.
more derelict for all these.
There.
Well, as you guys all know, athletic directors' biggest worry is keeping their own job. So they don't want to do anything controversial that could get them fired. So they all operate scared. Most GMs at the professional and college level, the only thing they care about is not getting fired, and that's a terrible way to make decisions.
Today is National Pigs in a Blanket Day. Don't get it wrong, Slee. It's not at the top of my list, but you go to a party and they got a little platter of pigs in a blanket. I'm going to throw a few on my plate. There's no bad way to have one of those. Are you not a fan?
I'm just picturing you at a party not throwing a few of those on your plate.
There are a few things I can skip, right?
Yeah.
But
I can see you taking
the crudité, for instance. The vegetables, you can have that. I don't need that. But if
Trav,
you
I could
I'd
see
be very
you-
disappointed in you if you passed up the pigs in a blanket.
I could see you taking your plate, putting it down, grabbing the tray, putting a few of them on your plate, and then taking the tray.
It's not a bad way to do it.
Strong
Four
effort
left.
there.
Little honey mustard on those things. It's not a bad way to do it. That's it's a hot dog and it's pastry. Who says no? Let's do a little super crosstalk.
ESPN AM 710 Los Angeles. KRDC AM 1110 Pasadena, Los Angeles.
K256CX 99.1 FM Pasadena, Los Angeles.
It's the greatest segment in LA sports radio history.
Oh my God. When the shows come together for magic on the radio.
It will only grow stronger. Super Crosstalk.
Are we ready for Mason and Ireland to join Travis and Slee?
Super Crosstalk begins. Super Crosstalk presented by In-N-Out Burger. In-N-Out. That's what a hamburger is all about.
It's time for Super Crosstalk.
So, did we just get a bye into the second round with LeBron and Steph Curry with the De'Aaron Fox news?
No. I mean, you think the Lakers series is over?
Yeah, we're getting there.
Yeah, I think we're on the way.
Tonight's a tough one.
Win tonight,
Tonight's
it's
a tough
over.
one.
Win tonight, and it's over.
I think you get Memphis' best shot tonight.
Did you two not watch the fourth
Sure,
quarter?
saw the fourth quarter. Saw what John
Do
did.
you really put any stock in that?
Hell yes.
Do you really?
He scored 22 consecutive points.
In a game that was so far out
Yeah,
of
it
hand.
was out of the game was out of control. They
the
did
starters were still in there.
They got within what 9 at one point.
Yep.
I thought
Closest they got. Yeah,
that's the closest they got.
Can I say something about that game the other night? It was, Slee, you were there. It was one of the, and I can probably count these on two hands, the amount of times where a crowd had a tangible effect.
Darvin said so.
On the result of the game. The Laker fans were unbelievable. Unbelievable on Saturday night. They absolutely got Dylan Brooks to jack up 13 shots.
Yeah.
They made it so uncomfortable for him. every time he touched the ball, I kept looking at Michael going, why is he shooting so much? They've got, John Moran and Desmond Bain and Jaron Jackson.
Yeah, 3-13.
He's like the fourth option.
Yeah.
What is he doing? And the crowd got in his head. They were all over everything the Grizzlies did. And then I look up and it's 35-9. The crowd absolutely gets credit for, just a staggering impact on that game.
We were talking about this. What's Dylan Brooks? What's the game plan? Like, what is he walking in? What is he? I was
watching
they should stop booing him if you're Laker fans. He's been the biggest asset for the Lakers.
ESPN side. And they pointed out that he's a free agent after this year. And why would you keep him? Why would you want Dylan Brooks if
he's
you're
not
the
helping.
Memphis Grizzlies? He's not helping anything.
Well, he normally is a very good defender, which is why he's in there. But, I mean...
LeBron is just crushing him.
Well, everybody is. And he can't... If he takes 13 shots,
not
the
helping
Lakers
on
should
offense.
escort him to the basket. I mean, it was...
Engraved invitations.
Right. Please, shoot again. But I unlike Trav, you and Mace, I think this series is far from over.
Well, it's win tonight and it's over. You agree with that, right?
Dogfight tonight.
It's
gonna be a tough game tonight.
You go up 3-1 again. The numbers are the numbers. It's 92% chance the team that goes up 3-1.
95.
Is it 95?
Yeah.
Goes on to win. And by the way, the Lakers are 38-1 when they're up 3-1 in their history.
The case for the Lakers is that they've looked like they're the better team, and when they play well, they look like they're significantly better. The case against them is they've played 4 games since the end of the season. 2 of them have been really nice, and 2 of them have been complete clunkers.
But Ja is spectacular.
Ja was great. I put a little less stock in, not that Ja can't go and do that in a competitive game, but when the game is decided the way that game was decided, and he's going off the way that he's going
element
off,
of garbage.
It just
time,
felt like it was unimportant to a certain point.
There was a game earlier this year that the Lakers lost in Memphis where Ja had a 28-point quarter.
That's right.
Yeah, I remember.
So it's not like what he did the other day he hasn't done before.
Right.
And you just have to keep him from doing it tonight. You know, it was interesting. We interviewed Austin Reeves after the game, and Michael asked him, hey, you guys know that every time Ja goes left is when he scores, right? And Reeves goes, yeah, we've watched the tape. We just can't stop it. He'll start by going right, and he'll come back and go to the left, or he'll just get going. Like, if you watch the Lakers guard him, they're standing on his left side, like forcing him to go right. And if they just stay there, he'll eventually come back to the left. Like, every time they made him stay right, he missed. And what's weird, he's a right-handed player, but he just loves to go left. So that's that's the game within the game tonight.
De'Aaron Fox has a fractured tip of his left index finger.
And doubtful
to play in Game 5. And we were talking about it, that it just seemed to me that there are those moments in the series where you got a break. Steph does something so out of character, he makes a huge mistake, he calls that timeout, and Sacramento gets a good shot.
Yep.
And they double-team Fox, they kick it to Barnes, he gets a wide open, he just missed, right? It happens. Then you get this news on top of it. It just feels like that was their opportunity, and now it's Steph.
Lakers Warriors, here we go. Lakers Warriors, here we go.
Again, I think you two are way premature.
Oh, come on. Lakers Warriors, let's do it.
Can you
Fox
imagine
is
that,
limited,
Mace?
Oh, my God. That's like the biggest box office series you can
It
think
would be
of.
the highest-rated second-round series of all time.
Gosh.
Crazy.
Can they win with Fox limited?
Yeah. Kobe played the whole 2009-2010 season with his right index finger wrapped the whole time. And I went to Gary Vitti and I said, can you tape my finger like you tape Kobe's? And what he did was he put a plastic splint on each side of my finger, and then he wrapped it. He did like an over-the-top piece of tape to hold the 2 splints together, and then he wrapped the whole finger. So Kobe's finger looked like
Kobe's
was
right
all
hand?
on his right hand, and he led the Lakers to the title and won Finals MVP. Now, the difference is he had to
not
play
Kobe.
well, and he had to play like that all season.
It's a good place to start.
So he was accustomed to
So
it.
he got used to it. To ask De'Aaron Fox to get used to that
Spur of
in
the moment.
2 days is a different animal. But I think he's going to play.
Why is Sabonis
He's
been
listed
so
as
bad?
doubtful.
Yeah, they have to.
They have to list him as doubtful.
They have to put him on the injury report in case he doesn't play or they get fined. A lot of teams will put the whole team on.
But they can
the
make him
injury.
questionable.
Like, well, you know that for every game for the last month, LeBron James,
Sure.
Anthony Davis,
Always questionable,
Dennis
every
Schroeder,
time.
yep.
just in case they don't play.
So Fox has been what he was all season long. He was the best player on that team. He was the best player through the first 4 games of the playoffs. Sabonis was their second best player and was awesome during the regular season. Has not been in this series. What's missing?
Draymond's an elite defensive player, and when he's guarding you, it's really hard to score. And so when he's out there, him and Looney are both good defensively, and they've just shut Sabonis down. Doesn't mean he won't go off next game.
Isn't that the point? Like, you're talking about Dylan Brooks, right? You want somebody that's a wild card, that's, and I mean this as a compliment, obnoxious, abrasive.
Right.
You want Dennis Rodman and Draymond Green. You don't want Dylan Brooks' version of that.
Well, I mean,
you
honestly,
want somebody that gets into guys that can alter the course of it, not just
well,
a guy that
Sliwa hit the nail on the
himself.
head before the game the other day when he said, your mouth can't be bigger than your game, and that's the problem with Dylan Brooks. His mouth is big, but his game's not that great.
And
so,
on top of it, I mean, that's of all the fouls that we've seen, and we've seen a bunch, I guess Draymond stomping on Domantas Sabonis is one thing, but that was a direct shot.
What was he doing?
At LeBron
I still
James.
don't understand.
And I don't know if it was totally unnecessary from a basketball perspective, but hammer him in the jewels. I understand why he was ejected right on the spot. I'm glad he's not suspended because I think he does motivate a lot of fans.
It wasn't suspension worthy, but it was ejection.
Idiotic.
Oh yeah, it was ejection worthy for sure.
That strikes me, and you'll see it.
Right,
occasionally.
Ireland. Even you would say that's ejection worthy.
I'm just surprised that you don't want a suspension. You want to suspend and eject every guy in the
No.
league. You wanted Draymond suspended, right?
Right, and he got suspended.
Right.
I didn't want Harden ejected. I didn't want Embiid ejected.
He wanted the rest of the night off.
Yeah.
This was.
I'm
getting
frustrated.
killed.
I said when I was
I'm
doing the
outta here.
game that this might not be a good thing for the Lakers that he's been thrown out. He's been our best weapon. He's the reason we were ahead 35-9. The crowd hates him. He can't shoot. He's shooting 13 times. Leave him in.
They're selling jerseys across the street of Dylan Brooks.
So Emily went bowling this weekend.
Oh, nice.
And she went with some friends, and they got Emily. Was it called a punch bowl? Is that what it was?
Like a fishbowl, yeah.
A fishbowl.
Yeah.
And it's a big drink that comes in a big bowl with 6 straws in it. And
nice.
Michael Thompson wouldn't be caught dead next to that thing.
That's what I.
Well, I think what Travis was getting at, if we have a big thing of coffee here.
Yeah. Oh, everybody with the straw?
And we all
Oh,
share.
my God.
Never, right?
No, I would never do that.
No, of course
Do
not.
I get my own straw?
You get your own straw, but you're
Bring it
drinking
on.
out of a
Although
collective bowl.
but here's the thing: alcohol does make it different, right? Because alcohol makes things sanitary.
Okay,
it's
yes.
alcohol.
Can I?
It also makes you make decisions
There you
that
go.
are, hey,
Right.
this is
Alcohol
fine.
also makes you do things that you would not do normally, like maybe not be super buttoned up with your slurping.
Right. Where'd you go, Bolero, Emily?
Yeah, Bolero and Culver City.
All right, so Emily, tell me if this makes me a bad guy or if you understand it, okay? When I was in high school, I was dating this girl, and I liked her, and we went on a group bowling date. Like me and 3 other guys, we all had dates, so there are 8 of us bowling. And the girl I was with bowled a 39.
Oh, boy.
And I broke up with her over it.
That does make you a bad guy.
39, I'm like maybe 50.
Did she have the bumpers in?
If she would have, I said,
She would have been better
bumpers
if she
in. I
had the
can tell you
bumpers
right
in.
now.
If you do bumpers and
You're
you
in
get
high
a
school,
39.
You graduate high school like 84, 5, something like
81.
that. 80, okay, they didn't have bumpers then.
Yeah,
Mace.
that was the pre-bumper era of
Pre-bumper
bowling.
and rails. So
Yeah.
she had to deal with the regular lane.
You know, I love bowling, but the last time I bowled, I was injured. I got hurt. You guys
Shocking.
No way.
Yeah, I got injured.
So now we've jumping
Yeah.
over the bar, playing in the basketball
'Cause
game.
here's the thing.
How did you not get hurt in the softball
Here's
game?
the thing. I killed it in the
miracle.
softball game. So I have a big bowling delivery. I've got one of these.
Fred Flintstone. Yeah.
One of those,
Yeah.
with
Yep.
a leg thrown back.
Yep.
Sure.
Hip pointer. I got a hip pointer on that. I was done bowling
4 to
for
6
a while.
weeks.
4 to 6 weeks.
Yep.
I was listed as doubtful for a while. But yeah, no, it's
Or you'll get fined if you're not
or
on
you
the
get
injury
fined,
list.
exactly. Yeah, no, I find a way
Like
to get
as
hurt.
you're bowling, you're like, okay, I need to stop. I'm hurt. Or you wake up the next day.
No, wake up the
and-
next day and I'm like, oh, what I do to
You
my
should
hip?
just be in bubble wrap 24/7.
I really should. You just never know when it's going to happen.
Okay, Mace, I hate to tell you this.
Yeah.
But, so I went to a baseball game yesterday. Went
Yeah.
to Arizona.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Went
cool.
to the Padres and the
Did you fly in
D-backs.
for just one game?
Literally flew in. There's a...
Wow.
Have you guys
The
seen
ballpark is right near the airport.
Yeah, have you guys seen that Netflix special? We talked a little bit about it. The Pizzeria Bianca.
No.
You ever seen that? So it's one of the best pizza places in the country, they say.
Right.
So we literally flew in, got in at like 10:30 in the morning, took an Uber straight to this pizza place, opens up at 11.
Right.
Did the wood fire pizza, went straight to the ballpark.
Wow.
From there, watched the game, back to the airport.
I forget, did they win or lose?
They won. It's not pretty, but they won. 7-5.
Okay.
7-5.
There you go.
So we were talking about the pitch clock and this and so
Yeah.
on. That was pretty on point. Being there, I didn't feel that the game was too rushed.
There you go.
Did not feel it was too rushed. Granted,
so now
the
Travis
game,
is the only one on slow the game down
Slow
island.
it down. Add some seconds. Give me 3 more seconds.
What'd you argue for?
I know
5
your
more
position.
seconds.
Trav, it was 3 hours.
You want to go
but
from
the game
20
went
to 25?
Instead of 15, it's 15 with nobody on base, 20 with somebody on base.
Yeah.
Let's go to 20 and 25.
Hell no.
Yeah,
Let's
No,
do
let's
it.
go to 5 and 10.
It's such
Why not
a
just have a pitching machine? At
By the
that
way,
point?
is it not great that the game is ending, more like 9:30
okay.
than it
This
is
is
10:30?
Mace. This is probably
But
why.
see, that's not the only option. The option isn't 9:30 or 10:30. My option is maybe 9:40.
And my
I
option
want a
is
little
maybe
bit.
8:30.
Give me
You're not appreciating it at
7:10
all.
to 9:40 is like
that's perfect. That's perfect. I don't. If the choice is as is or back to the old way, as is 10 out of 10 times.
By the end of this, I'm going to have
more.
you 2 strikes and you're out. If the first 2 guys strike out, inning's over. Come on, let's go.
Only one time. They're experimenting with throwing in the minor leagues, only allowing one
So
disengagement.
I thought
only
that would
one
be a weird
throw
rule,
of the
right?
first.
So guys would be running, and I know steals are up, but it's
Yeah.
not crazy.
It's
It
not
hasn't
out of
turned-
control like I thought it would be.
it's
2
pretty
seems
watchable.
enough, right? You could still kind
It
of
seems
hold
about
the
right. You
hold
throw
the runner
one
at
to
bay.
keep him, then you got that other one in your back pocket. So, Dodgers announced today that Max Muncy's going on the paternity list.
We don't need him.
Okay,
We don't even need.
He's
The
done
offense
nothing.
is so good. We don't need him.
Brusdar Graterol also on the paternity
Oh,
list.
no.
Mookie Betts just came
off
the paternity list.
Okay, so wait a minute. What month is this?
There you go. You're exactly the right spot.
We're in April, so we back up 9 months.
July.
So what was going on in July?
The All-Star break.
The All-Star break.
Here
There you go.
at Dodger Stadium.
That is
in
fantastic.
town, so
yeah,
everybody got
Mookie was
reacquainted.
home. Yeah.
There you go.
Wow.
So you got
Sparks flew.
Putting that
Makes
together,
perfect
that's brilliant.
sense.
Well, so Emily told me, I knew Mookie just got back. She's like, Muncy's down. I'm like, well, that's. And then Graterol right after, like, wait, hold on a second.
Yeah.
They were all.
Something's going on
Something presented itself with an opportunity 9 months ago. And
Excellent.
here you go.
Excellent.
There you
Well,
go.
congratulations to all.
I'm almost ready to make a full commitment to James Outman. Not.
What do you mean? What else do you need to see?
Just a little bit.
But he's
more,
back-
more time.
He's batting
More time.
311 with
in what way are
7
you
home
not
runs.
committed
Can
to
I?
him?
Can I?
That's my
Let me
favorite
explain.
player on the Dodgers
Who is that now?
right now. Kershaw.
Oh yeah, you need a new one.
Whoa.
But Kershaw's been pretty
Kershaw's
good, John.
been
He's been
great.
terrific.
I
Yeah.
think Kershaw's unbelievably underappreciated.
What are you talking about? You're the one who gave up on Kershaw Day when he struggled.
We missed this nugget last time. Kershaw won yesterday, but his previous start was his 200th win.
Right.
And he's got the best winning percentage of anybody in the history of Major League Baseball with 200 wins.
Well, he's the best Dodger regular season pitcher of all time.
No question.
But, Mace, you were the one that said after he got bumped in the playoffs, you said, Kershaw Day's over. I've had it with Kershaw. He's a number 3 starter. Get rid of him.
I'm a sports talk show host. I am paid to be prisoner of the moment. Are you effing kidding me?
Right.
But I just 2 more months, and then I'm all in on James Outman.
Outman's a good one.
Outman and Freeman are my 2 favorite players.
Freeman's a good bit. Okay.
Freeman's so good.
I love Freddie. I like that he's a local guy.
He's off to a kind of slow. By
home
Freddie
runs
standards,
wide.
slow
He's
start.
still hitting over 300.
I know.
It's
He's
like he's
got a 385 on base percentage.
I love him. I want him to stay here. I want him to win the World Series. I look at him. I see a Brave. I just going to take a long time. Outman, new,
and yet you've already
fresh
traded.
face.
You've already
He's an
traded
ingenue.
Outman to the Angels for Shohei Ohtani.
Done.
Yeah, he's
Is
got to
there-
be part of the deal if there's a deal.
Him and probably May.
I would say Dustin May.
Julio.
Gonsolin.
No,
Julio's a free agent.
Pointless. He's a free
Julio's
agent.
a free agent
Right,
at the end
but
of the year.
if you're the Angels, you have to sell it. I mean,
but you got to get Julio to sign off that he's going to
Yeah,
stay.
Julio's going to go to market. He's going to get a Garrett Cole deal.
He's
and
a
I don't
Scott
think the
Boras
Angels
guy.
are going to pay it. Yeah,
They typically don't. Just Outman for Julio. Oh, dude, that sounds good. For
Outman, May, that's good.
May Gonsolin, or is he got to show?
Nah,
they'd
want
Outman,
minor leaguers before they'd want
Stone,
Gonsolin.
I think
Miller,
They want Michael
both.
Bush. They'd want some other dudes.
Bush, Miller,
Stone,
Cartaya. They got some
Cartaya,
guys.
yeah.
They got
They
some
want
guys.
the
Super
Hollywood
crosstalk.
Bowl.
Yeah, whatever
For
it
Ohtani,
takes.
they can have it.
Whatever
I
it
want
takes.
Ohtani.
Might
Powered
be
by
cheaper.
In-N-Out Burger. That's what a hamburger's all about. Mason and Ireland coming up next. We'll